Douluo, my martial spirit is a system. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 76, Three-Pronged Approach. Huora defeats the enemy. Isn't it too late to find out now? Huo Rao's voice appeared out of thin air, and Yan, who was so confident at first, was stunned when he saw Huo Rao, who suddenly passed through the wall of fire, and saw that Huo Rao's whole body was also wrapped in a layer of flames, and she stretched out her sharp claws. The claws, exuding an orange-red halo, directly tore a huge gap in the wall of fire. Followed by another figure. That person held a long sword tightly in his hand, and the slender sharp blade released a piercing cold light. His figure also shuttled through the gap just after Huo Rao. It is Zhu Jiangxing impressively. Flash. Huh. What's going on? What's this? Xiaoyu saw two people passing through. He reacted extremely quickly and wanted to dodge in an instant, but suddenly found that his feet were restrained by something. Looked down and saw the purple blue silver grass. There are also some dark dead wood clusters and vine branches that have wrapped their ankles, and this thing is directly extending from the ground and is attacking along their feet towards their legs. Not good. When did this appear? We didn't notice it at all. And how is this possible? Doesn't he only have one soul ability? How could there be other ways to restrain us? Looking at the grass, it seems to be blue. Silver grass, right? How could a mere blue silver grass restrain me? Yang watched the flames on his legs being gradually extinguished by layers of blue silver grass. He couldn't believe it even more than Ziyu. How could mere grass extinguish the flames? And this blue silver grass didn't even show the slightest sign of shrinking back. This is too scary, right? I dare not let the Soul Master believe that this is the fact, that the mage is on him. Think it's that simple? Hulina laughed. She was still worried about how to get you to show up, but she didn't expect you to show up directly this time. Just in time. Don't be too happy. Yinghuo activates. She fixed her eyes on Huora and Zhu Jiangxing falling from the sky in front of her, but there was no sign of being dizzy at all, and she suddenly felt something was wrong. Where was her soul power? His soul power actually disappeared. Is this the case? But Jifei, who was standing on the outside watching the battle, laughed. Could the soul skills endowed by his own martial soul, the Chaos Master, be so simple to be confused? You think too much. You have been caught in Jifei's scheme from the very beginning. And at this moment, it was just the result of the activation of the 1000-year-old soul ability of the withered tree vine. The soul ability of the withered tree can be called stealing the sky and changing the sun, which is different from the glimmer of life of the blue silver grass. It can be said that Jifei can use this trick to absorb other people's soul power, to supplement his own soul power, and at the same time, he can use this soul skill to transfer soul power to others. The soul power of these three people has been stolen by him, and there is no soul power at all. It is good to barely maintain the form of the martial soul. Want to release the soul skills? That is obviously impossible. Let's restore your own soul power to full before talking about other things. The black mist gradually dissipated under Jifei's leadership, and then Hulina and the three were in a panic. The three people who were still invincible in the past are now. One is pointed at the neck by Huo Rao's sharp claws and dare not breathe. The other is held by Zhu Jiangxing with the long sword in his hand, and Hulina in the middle is displeased. He stared confidently at Jifei, who was slowly walking over. How is it? Do you feel a trace of despair? It's funny that the three soul masters who were better than us were defeated in such a short period of time, isn't it? Jifei clapped his hands. Which is very good. How did you do it? Why did my soul power suddenly disappear? Until now, Hulina hasn't seen the clues, and Jifei doesn't know whether it should be said that the soul ability of the dead wood to and vine is too perverted, or that Hulina is more or less stupid. Don't even think about how you did it. Come on, hand in your admission certificates. Jifei smiled slightly. I'll tell you a secret. My restraint method is very powerful. It can swallow your flesh and blood invisibly, and then a pile of weeds and branches will occupy your body instead of yours. Muscles and bones occupy your soul. TSK. That kind of feeling is definitely very uncomfortable, so hand it over. You. Hulina was obviously very unconvinced. She didn't even know how she lost, so he didn't even see Ji-Fei during the battle. But now this person came to declare his victory to them again. This is simply unsatisfactory, but they have no choice, because they are still bound by the blue silver grass and the branches of deadwood and vines under their feet. What's the matter? Are you not convinced? Ji-Fei stood in front of Hulina and looked at her. Aren't you all very proud just now? Since you all have your own admission certificates, why should we make it difficult for our own people? I will start a war and let them snatch the unwarranted admission certificates. Well, those of you who have proof have to find trouble for nothing. It's simply because you are different from them and want to compete with you. Ziyu on the side said slowly. It's just a discussion. What about handing over your school certificate? What do you think about those people who are staring at you now? We could live in peace with each other, but now I'm very angry. Ji-Fei walked towards Yan, who was on the side. You stupid big guy, doesn't use your brain. You seem to cooperate pretty well, but why didn't you immediately consider that there is a soul master with fire attribute on our side? Wuhan is very good. It's kind of simple. By the way, where did the three of you come from? Ji-Fei asked. The small town is just nothing to worry about. Ziyu replied. Small town. Forget it. I'm not in the mood to continue arguing with you. The desperate guys around here are going to attack us now. Ji-Fei looked at the people around him. Soul masters who are out of breath and panting. Did not expect that there are so many uncertified soul masters here. Now Ji-Fei has such a strange feeling. Is it true that only 6 of them have enrollment certificates and the others want to prostitute for nothing? I'm really sorry. Our impulsiveness has brought you into it. Ziyu, who was let go, also looked at the soul masters who surrounded them. They are much stronger. It seems that they all have IQ. What's the use of saying this now? This group of desperate soul masters probably won't believe what I say. I can't help it. The black mist has risen, and I'm running away. A surging black mist enveloped the people on Ji-Fei's side. What are you three standing here for? Don't you run away. My black man. Although the fog is powerful, it is not a long-term solution, right? First find a place, and then put a cloud of black fog to circle them around. Even if you have high self-esteem, you will definitely not be able to fight with dozens of soul masters together, right? Ji-Fei, am not a small-minded person. Let's help each other out from a small town. After the words fell, Ji-Fei dragged Zhu Jiangxing and Huo Rao to implement his plan, just in case Ji-Fei was still there. Made another preparation. Let's go. Let's keep up. We have no soul power now. It is impossible to be an enemy of this group of people. He is right. Protecting your admission certificate is the most important thing. Ziyu looked at Hulina and Yan, then he followed Ji-Fei to the other side. Hulina was taken aback for a moment, then suddenly smiled knowingly, and didn't know what she was laughing at. End of this chapter. Chapter 77. The dawn comes. The battle is over. Last night there was no strong wind or rain, only black mist rising from the ground. Nearly 100 soul masters were killed or injured in the scuffle last night, and less than a handful of them could actually snatch the admission certificate in the end. Why? According to previous years, although the oldest child is 10 years old, their cultivation level is as high as 10, and it is a team battle of 3 people. How can it be possible that not many people lose their own certificates and some people get their own certificates? Question mark? The answer is simple. According to the statements of the parties, last night, they were besieging 3 people fiercely, and a large group of soul masters were fighting fiercely with each other, but they somehow released cloud after cloud of black mist in this mist. You can't see your opponent at all, let alone snatch the proof, and it's already good if you don't hurt your teammates. The black mist was very strange, and they couldn't see the situation 2 meters around them clearly when standing inside. They could only stand in place and calmly analyze to find a way to solve it, but after a night passed, they didn't find any way to solve it. It can be said that the fierce battle was over in the first half of the night, and in the second half of the night they simply stood in the black mist and couldn't do anything. This is very Buddhist. Hey, wake up, it's dawn. Don't sleep. Have you snatched the admission certificate? It's dawn. Don't say you slept soundly last night. By the way, enrolling. AHH. Don't let me know who made these black farts. If I find out, I'll have to skin him. My dream. I'm already 10 years old this year, and I won't be allowed to enter Wuhandian Academy next year. I have studied. I can only go to some lowly colleges and universities, and my pity that my soul power of level has been wandering around in the black mist overnight. Damn it. How can we tell who has a certificate of enrollment in the black mist? Howls and roars of anger rang out in the square. PFFT, what do you think they will do to you if I tell them that the culprit is here? On the edge of a corner, Ji-Fei was half lying on Zhu Jiangxing's back, and Zhu Jiangxing was also staring boredly at the group of soul masters who were going crazy in the crowd. Hearing Hulina's words, Ji-Fei shook his head calmly. At worst, I'll run away. Brother Ji is really tall. If it wasn't for Brother Ji's unique means, I'm afraid the admission certificates of the three of us would have been scrambled by other people. Thanks to Brother Ji, we three apologize for what happened last night. Ziyu bowed slightly, without any arrogance. To him, it was no big deal if he lost, and he could tell that Ji-Fei might not even use his real strength last night. These two are brother and sister, and they both seem to possess the martial soul fusion skill. Luo suddenly appeared beside Ji-Fei again at some point. Oh, brothers and sisters? One surname Z and the other who? Ji-Fei was puzzled. Could it be the same mother and half father? Can't you take your father's surname and your mother's surname? Luo retorted. The martial soul fusion skills I know are very powerful. Why didn't they use them last night? If I had used them, maybe I wouldn't be so serious. Ji-Fei looked at Ulina. This Ulina's martial soul is a demon fox. In layman's terms, it looks like a vixen, possessing a charming soul skill, which may cause dizziness to people. The use of martial soul fusion skills is very limited. Does the martial soul fusion skills of the two of them have to be offensive? Maybe they are auxiliary types? Anyway, you just need to be careful in the future. Luo then disappeared gone. If you care about me, just tell me directly. You don't have to appear and disappear so suddenly. Ji-Fei was taken aback for a moment, then Shuran opened his arms, and yawned and stood up slowly. At the same time, he called Zhu Jiangxing, who was sleeping beside him. Giant crossing, your wife has escaped. Ah. Zhu Jiangxing was startled, and whispered, Huo Rou, Huo Rou. Huo Rou was taken aback. Where did she run away? Didn't you stay here all the time? Correct. Who is his wife? She spat, but looked very shy. Zhu Jiangxing woke up and found that Huo Rou had been by his side all the time. Where did it go? Isn't that good? Look at you two men and women who are still shy. It's really boring. I'm a little impatient when I'm a light bulb. Ji-Fei clapped his hands and looked at the middle-aged man at the gate who seemed to be moving up. Is it over? Looking around, those people who were originally standing on the city wall disappeared. Yo, little brother knows a lot, and you know how talented she is. I'm afraid you haven't even held a girl's hand, have you? Why don't you hold your hand? Hulina walked over slowly, staring at her with a smirk. Ji-Fei. Who said I haven't held a girl's hand before? I also have a wife, and I told you that my wife is very cruel. I'd better clean up and clean up. Let's go. It seems that we are going together. Brother Z, take care of you sister. After finishing speaking, Ji-Fei walked towards the gate of the city on his own. Zhu Jiangxing and Huo Rou naturally followed soon after. They have already felt that, as long as they follow Ji-Fei to do anything, they can easy to complete, without going through any trouble. How does he know we are brother and sister? Ziyu was obviously stunned. Nana, I'm married, but how old is he? I'm afraid he's just 6 or 7 years old, right? Could it be that he's a Fei and Tang who was ordered by his parents and told by a matchmaker? It's so strange that, if you come here alone, you are not afraid that your Fei and Tang will be abducted by other people. Hulina looked at Ziyu. Brother, what are you thinking? I just think he is a little bit of fun, but you can see that his strength is so weird and unpredictable at such a young age. He will definitely be our enemy after entering the academy. That's right, brother you. It can be seen from last night that this Ji-Fei is definitely not simple. Do you want to investigate his identity? Take a look and report it? Yan also said very vigilantly. Forget it. Didn't you listen to what he said last night? He simply came to learn, and didn't he value the strength of our spirit hall? After all, such a soul master is still easy to control. We let it be, that's all. Ziyu then followed Ji-Fei's path and walk towards the gate of the city. It's so intense. Fei was obviously stunned when he saw the scars all over the ground and the dry blood on the ground. Fortunately, last night, Izanami's martial spirit was protecting him with special means. Otherwise, there would be more casualties. This is called walking. Good deeds don't leave names. Those who didn't grab the admission certificate until dawn. End of this chapter. Chapter 78. Fei discovered a very strange scene. Some soul masters who were still clamoring about who released the black mist had already left one after another at this moment, and now there were only a few dozen left in the original team of hundreds of people. These people probably don't have admission certificates, right? They must be. Otherwise, they wouldn't be so stupid to leave, right? And because of my operation last night, I'm afraid there weren't many people who could get the admission certificates from other people. Fei could see this from the scene where the group of people complained. At this moment, Fei, Zhu Jiangxing, Huarao, and Hulina, Xiaoyu, and Yan at the side, stood at the front of the remaining soul masters, and they all looked at the middle-aged man standing in front of him in unison. The middle-aged man looked cold, but there was no sense of old age on his face. His deep eyes looked around Fei and the group of people. If you don't have an enrollment certificate, it's better to leave on your own. If you don't leave now, if you fish in troubled waters, you can weigh the consequences yourself. If you don't have that strength, don't complain. I'm very disgusted with your performance last night. A person's strength is extremely poor. The use of soul power and martial soul is extremely vulgar. I really don't know who you all studied under after awakening the martial soul. Hey Ocean Douluo. Fei really wanted to say that, but unfortunately he couldn't. The eyes of the middle-aged man swept over Fei and the 5 people beside him. Fei only felt a powerful oppressive force unfolding from his body. Like the water of water, it is constantly disturbing him. You 6 are very good, much better than the other trash, both in terms of soul power and martial soul use are very good. Fei was taken aback. Obviously the middle-aged man should be able to see their respective actions last night through the black mist, released by his martial soul. This is not surprising. After all, is Fei's martial soul perfect, and the level of soul power represents everything. The middle-aged man's soul power level is probably not low, and the oppressive power released from him may be as low as that of Fei. From Tang Heo's experience, it is possible that the middle-aged man in front of him is a titled Douluo. Xiaoyu, why do you think you were defeated by the 3 of their casually organized teams last night? The middle-aged man put his deep gaze on Xiaoyu. Xiaoyu was startled. How could he not know the reason? But it was too embarrassing to say it. We were defeated by carelessness, and at the same time, we didn't understand their respective martial souls. Although the students knew the origin of Zhu Jiangxing and Huarao's martial souls, they didn't expect that they could cooperate so tacitly, and Huarao's the martial soul seems to be a mutated attribute that can break through Yan's attribute fire. The most powerful one is this brother G. I have never heard of his martial soul. At first it was just an ordinary beast martial soul, but it never occurred to her that this martial soul was actually a controlled type martial soul. The black mist released blocked Nana's temptation, and at the last moment, Nana's soul power suddenly disappeared, which led to the defeat. And the reason, all I can think of is brother G's special methods, right? The analysis is in place. Fei gave such a judgment. This ZU is not easy, judging from the cooperation between the 3 of them. If Fei doesn't have any special means, it really may not be able to fight well past the opponent, unless you use some special hole cards. What about you, Hulina? Do you know where you went wrong? Uncle Porpoise. Hulina coquettishly pretended to be coquettish. The middle-aged man shook his head helplessly. Your fault is that you shouldn't be arrogant. Are you making a fool of yourself now? You are clearly asked to come to Wuhandian Academy to study, but you find trouble on your own as soon as you come. This is good, right? Let's see who you explain to. The eyes of the middle-aged man named Thornfish soon fell on Yan again. Yan looked flustered. Your Majesty, I know I was wrong. Oh, you know you're wrong? Then do you know where you are wrong? And the other soul masters fell into a state of shock when they saw this scene. What, Your Majesty? What is the name of the crown? Then only the strong enough to be titled Douluo can be honored by others. Could it be that the middle-aged man in front of him is a titled Douluo? This person's martial soul is porcupine, so his title should be porcupine, and he should belong to the branch of the previous branch hall. Lula's voice sounded leisurely. What branch of the palace? Ji-Fei asked suspiciously. It's nothing, it's just that I remembered some things from the past. Anyway, this person's soul power should be between level 91 and level 93. Title Douluo? The battle at the Wuhandian Academy is really terrifying. As soon as it came up, people of the title Douluo level were photographed sitting here. Who dares to make trouble? No wonder the group of people left immediately now, but what are the identities of the three Hulina? Zhu Jiangxing muttered in a low voice. Has no one left yet? Poor Douluo didn't continue to question Hulina and the others for their faults, but only focused on the remaining group of soul masters. There are so many this year. Dolphin Douluo muttered, but yes, Ji-Fei, you have a lot of tricks, and you probably have more things to hide, right? Your soul power is only level 14. Do you want to show everyone your proof? Take a look. Seeing that Dolphin Douluo didn't seem to have any malicious intentions, Ji-Fei could only smile awkwardly. Your Majesty, stop joking. I just came to Wuhandian Academy to study, and I don't want to show off. Oh. Don't want to be in the limelight? That's not okay. Your strength and age make people very puzzled. Should I check where you are from? Do you still need to study somewhere? Dolphin Douluo bent slightly, as if he wanted to increase the distance between him and Ji-Fei. You are very good. Okay. Poor Douluo straightened up and continued, divided into classes. You should have a general understanding of the system of our Wuhandian Academy, right? In view of the fact that there are too many students enrolled this year, the division of classes this year will be slightly changed, from the previous 3-person team to 7-person teams. And then a teacher from Wuhandian Academy will lead the team to study. Then we will start to divide into classes. End of this chapter. Chapter 79 Formation of Class 1. Dolphin Douluo really deserves to be a title Douluo level existence. It seems that during the battle last night, he sorted out all the quotas for the squads and queues. This is also quite strange, and I really don't know how he knew the names of these people. Maybe it was, when Ji-Fei went to Wuhandian Academy there will be a faster existence in time, and the quota has already been registered. First class, Ji-Fei, Ziyu, Zhu Jiangxing, Hulina, Huo Ro, Yan, Yi Lanshan. The first class whose names are called stand there. Dolphin Douluo pointed to the place where the queue was lined up. Ji-Fei was taken aback. He didn't expect that they and Ziyu were in the same team, and there was also a person named Ji Lanshan. It sounds like it should be a woman's name. Brother Ji, I didn't expect us to be in the same team, and we are still in the first class. Zhu Jiangxing stared at Ji-Fei in amazement, but couldn't hide the excitement in his heart. Oh, is there anything special about the first class? Ji-Fei also asked Zhu Jiangxing as he moved towards the place pointed by the Dolphin Douluo. Ziyu on the side started to explain. First class, you can enjoy the best cultivation resources first, and have the opportunity to become the golden generation of Wuhan Temple. We don't need to do basic small tasks. It's our turn to do the tasks. It will be difficult to solve, and at the same time, the first class has always been taught by a titled Douluo. Whether it is hunting soul beasts or doing some tasks, it will be very safe, and the training knowledge of the title Douluo will be passed on to everyone. Didn't our word smooth out most of the ups and downs in cultivation for us? So good. Apparently, except for Ji-Fei, they all seemed to know the meaning of the first class. And after arriving at the station, Ji-Fei saw the last team member, a soul master named Yi Lanshan. This is a very good looking woman, much prettier than Huo Ruan and Hulina. There is a touch of tenderness, but it seems that the charm of Hulina is missing. And Ji-Fei's conclusion was, anyway, it's not as good as Luluo. Yi Lanshan stood at the end of the line. Obviously she was very reserved, and she didn't seem to be very good at communicating with other people, but her eyes stayed on Ji-Fei for a while, and Ji-Fei also looked at him with some doubts. Second class, Chenru, Ren Kering, Mu Fengchu, ZH using Gilan. The third class, class 10. Dolphin Douluo didn't even have a roster, so he named everyone present one by one. There were 70 soul masters in 10 classes, and these 70 people stood there one by one to form a very grand team. The oldest person is only 10 years old, and his own soul power is naturally as high as the 12th level or above. Those who are less than 10 years old have reached at least the 12th level of soul power. This group of children can no longer represent ordinary geniuses. Perhaps there are not a few of them who are born with full soul power. Otherwise, it is absolutely impossible to improve their soul power with such a high level. The existence of TH level soul power like ZU is even more terrifying. Okay, this is the end of the class division. I don't like to be long-winded. Next, they will lead you to pay the tuition and get the keys to the dormitory. Then they will take you to your respective classes, and your respective tutors will wait for you after class. You can see that the classes at Wuhandian Academy are not as simple as you imagined. As soon as the porpoise Douluo finished speaking, the mysterious man in the cloak who disappeared last night suddenly reappeared. Fei stood in the front, and the mysterious man Fei who was walking towards him was also the one who could see the most clearly. They were very mysterious, covering his face, only revealing a pair of eyes. Judging from the appearance of his figure, he doesn't seem to be too young. Let's go, you are the first class. The masked man glanced at Fei, then turned around and walked towards the city gate. Fei then followed, and the rest of the team waited for them to finish walking before starting to act. Only then did Fei understand what the masked man meant when he said that you are the first class. Behind Fei is Ziyu, who should have belonged to Zhu Jiangxing, but Zhu Jiangxing ran to stand with Hu Orao. Fei didn't really want to find out what Ziyu's identity was, at least it wasn't easy. It definitely didn't come from any academy or sect. Originally, Fei was imagining how grand Wuhandian Academy should be, because he had been to Notting Academy where Tang San studied, and he had a certain understanding of the academy in this world, which was divided into teaching area and dormitory area. Obviously the teaching area occupies most of it, but Fei doesn't know if the Wuhandian Academy is the same. Step through the city gate. Here. And when Fei himself really stepped into the Wuhandian Academy, he really saw what is called grandeur, and what is called a beautiful environment. Looking closely, what he crossed was not a city wall. It should be said to be a real academy. Because when Fei entered, what he saw was a road leading to the front, surrounded by peaceful trees. It was winter. Don't forget it's winter. What a novelty that there are so many evergreen plants in winter. It's really too amazing. And along with the progress, there is a huge surrounding square in the middle, and there are many soul masters walking in it wearing pale gold school uniform robes, and the two huge statues erected in the middle are even more dazzling. The 200-foot high statues looked into the distance, and the materials of the two huge statues were obviously different. One was cast from pure white and flawless jade, while the other was cast from a dark purple material. But no matter where you look at it, it is so perfect and so impeccable. Two statues. The white and clean statue spread its huge wings and held a restrained red gold sword in its hand. It seemed that it was an angel who had fallen from the world, and the battle armor added infinite glory to it. Okay, those introverted golden eyes stared into the distance, as if the whole world was under his eyes. Then opened the dark purple statue on the other side. The dancing robe is huge, and the purple chains curling around his feet seem to have life. This is a man, holding a gorgeous scepter in his hand, and a crown on his head. Like the only supreme god between heaven and earth, his shattered purple eyes seem to be able to destroy the world at a glance. He and the angel on one side are all staring at the same place. Where is the east? Fei's gaze was attracted by the purple statue, and he forgot to walk for a moment. It was Ziyu behind him who reminded him that Fei could react. Interested in these two statues? Ziyu's voice sounded. Fei nodded without hiding. You know, it's natural. Let me tell you now, the origin of these two statues. End of this chapter. Chapter 80 The Legend of Angels and Destruction. Ziyu began to explain to Fei, the statue of the Jade Seal is a martial soul that has been inherited from the Wuhan Temple, and it is also the only god-level martial spirit left in the Douluo Continent, and this angel statue also symbolizes the Wuhan Temple, as well as the presence of popes in the Hall of Spirits. It has been announced that the Hall of Spirits has opened up another new era for soul masters, and this statue has been standing here for hundreds of years. What about the purple statue next to the angel statue? It seems that his origin should be even more difficult. Ji-Fei didn't have any special feelings about that angel statue. It might look extremely gorgeous, symbolizing the spirit of martial arts, the supreme authority of the palace, but in Ji-Fei's eyes, it is just a statue. There is no specific origin of this statue. It is said that the inheritance of a huge power that existed before. It is even heard that the Wuhan palace was attached to this power before, but I don't know why it was destroyed later. Then the Wuhan palace inheriting here has created another pinnacle of the Soul Master world, and all I know is that this statue is called destruction, and I don't know anything about the rest. Is it the power that the Wuhan palace used to be attached to? Ji-Fei was obviously stunned. Why would an existence stronger than the Wuhan palace be destroyed? Ji-Fei shook his head. Apparently it was still far away for him. Hey, but brother G, if you didn't tell me just now, I hadn't noticed that. If you take a closer look at this statue, it looks somewhat similar to you. Ziyu's words aroused a deeper layer of doubt in Ji-Fei's heart, but he just smiled awkwardly. Perhaps only Luo could know about these things. Unfortunately, Luo obviously wouldn't tell herself these things. Of course, if you become stronger, you might be able to know. Is there? Maybe it's a bit bumpy, but I want to ask, what is the academic year of our Wuhandian Academy? If we run away halfway, will we encounter any pursuit? Brother G, why would you ask such a question? We Soul Masters who entered Wuhandian Academy naturally value the excellence of Wuhandian Academy. Once we enter, how could we drop out of school? But this is not without precedent. It depends on the specific reason. If you defect, you will definitely be hunted down at the level of the Bishop of Wuhandian. That's fine. Ji-Fei muttered in a low voice. Of course he will run away after a year. After all, his identity is there. If it is really found out that he is Tang Heo's adopted son, the consequences would be unimaginable. Separate from here is the teaching area and the dormitory building. The masked man who led the way suddenly said, because you are the first class, the hosts of the classroom will be the best. The rest of the classroom will be shared by 2 people. You can choose separate rooms. Of course, if you want to, it is also possible for 2 people to supervise each other's cultivation so as not to go wrong. Of course, it is impossible for a man and a woman to be in the same room. Ji-Fei was also a little shocked when he saw the paths separated from the 2 main roads. Compared with the towering teaching building, the dormitory on the other side can no longer be called a floor. It should be said to be a separate building group. There is nothing wrong with saying that it is a single family, and the surrounding environment is also very beautiful. Although it is the cold winter season, it feels as if spring is wanton. Overall, it gives people a sense of stability and comfort. If you look at it, there are taller buildings on the other side. You need to pay the registration fee first, and then you can get the school uniform and the dormitory number plate. Then you can go to the dormitory by yourself to clean up first. After getting familiar with the environment, the class will officially start tomorrow. Of course, the 7 of you are in the same class. As for how to learn and how to cultivate, that is the business of your mentors, and we will not care about these. Under the leadership of the masked man, Ji-Fei and the others walked slowly into the groups of teaching buildings. There were vaguely many soul masters moving around on the floors. I don't want to stay half a step longer. Ji-Fei suddenly came up with a word to describe this Wuhandian Academy: fast-paced. Yes, there are not so many harmonious classmates who rush in groups, and almost every soul master who is extra is walking in a hurry, and the eyes are restrained, and they are obviously thinking about something, probably about practice knowledge. Ji-Fei likes this kind of atmosphere very much, because only in this kind of atmosphere can a cold and arrogant strong man be born. Soul masters are different from ordinary students. What they learn are fighting skills, the control of martial spirits, and their own souls. The increase in strength, those insignificant things should be more of a drag for people like them. The registration offices are all located in a very exclusive small room. It seems that the registration points of each class are different, because Ji-Fei has not seen other classes come here to register. Perhaps from the very beginning, after they were destined to be divided into classes, there was a huge gap between them and those soul masters. Tuition fees are very expensive enough to allow normal people to live on coins for several years. 50 gold soul coins. Ji-Fei doesn't care much. Luo, a cruel little rich woman, is not short of money, and the coins she created are as good as real coins. There is no difference between them, and even the long-lasting coin atmosphere can be possessed. Ziyu told Ji-Fei that any place in Wuhandian Academy is good, but the relationship between each student is not very good. Of course, the relationship between soul masters in a team is naturally good. Of course, there must be one who can control the backbone of everyone in the team. After Ziyu said this, she still stared at Ji-Fei meaningfully. After paying the tuition, Ji-Fei got 2 fit and comfortable golden feather school uniforms, a key with the house number of the dormitory, and a token engraved with a soaring angel, which is the symbol of the students of Wuhandian Academy. Fei put everything into the kaking ring. Anyway, it can be taken out anytime and anywhere. Dormitory 123. This house number is easy to remember. Let's go to the dormitory to rest first. Brother G, don't go first. Don't you want to see who our mentor is? Zhu Jiangxing naturally hugged Ji-Fei's shoulders. The relationship between Ji-Fei and Zhu Jiangxing during this period of time is also very good. Although Zhu Jiangxing is a familiar person, it is better than those idiots who just come up and ask for trouble. Bah. But it's strange to say that apart from the subtle conflicts with Ziyu, Hulina and Yan, Ji-Fei really didn't encounter anyone who casually troubled him, which was quite comfortable. Where is there? Actually, after hearing Ziyu say that the instructor of the first class would be a titled Douluo, Ji-Fei was very surprised. There might not be many titled Douluos in the entire Douluo Continent, but now his mentor will be a titled Douluo, so why not make people excited? End of this chapter. Chapter 81. Undead Douluo? Ji-Fei automatically skipped the names of the 7 of them and saw that what was written on the back of the first class of instructors happened to be an undead titled Douluo level powerhouse. Do you know this undead Douluo? Or have you heard anything about him? Ji-Fei didn't have any memories of undead Douluo in his memory. Even though he had read most of the Douluo Continent's original novels, he had never heard of such a character as Undying Douluo. If he is not dead, then he himself is definitely a very terrifying existence. Ziyu shook her head. I don't know, but it seems to be a new titled Douluo who joined the Spirit Hall. Come to Wuhandian Academy to teach? Undead Douluo? Hulina, who was originally standing behind, came over suddenly, and she let out a light snort. I heard from my teacher that this immortal Douluo is almost as indestructible as his title, and it seems to have something to do with his own martial spirit. The relationship, anyway, is very scary, and I heard that the character is very weird. Before I left, the teacher told me that if he was teaching, I must not disobey him, otherwise the consequences would be disastrous. Ji-Fei laughed dryly. Even if it's not scary, how dare we disobey a titled Douluo level powerhouse? But since he is the teacher, he shouldn't do anything too extreme, right? For those of us who are only 10 years old, child, I hope. Ziyu sighed. Okay, let's go back to our respective dormitories to tidy up, rest. Everything will be clear tomorrow. Yan was very indifferent, thinking to himself, no matter how perverted and bad-tempered, there will be a prickly poor Pacelluo is better. What's the number in your dormitory? Ji-Fei stared at the number plate Ziyu took out. 124. I'm 125. Zhu Jiangxing also took out his dormitory number plate and waved it. I'm 122. Yan said in a low voice. I'm not staying with you guys anyway. Hulina took the initiative to find Huorao, and the 2 girls who were about the same age were also quite quick. Sister Huorao, how old are you? And you, Lanshan over there, woolen cloth. Huorao was taken aback. She had a more lively personality compared to her younger sisters and older sisters who seemed aggressive. She was a little different. Maybe Zhu Jiangxing had some similarities. 665. Minus 667. Yi Lanshan was obviously a little cautious. She could tell that the 6 people other than her were more or less familiar, and she was not used to blending into the atmosphere of a small team. I'm 666. Yes. It seems that Uncle Porpoise has organized our respective dormitories together. The 2 are familiar with this place, although I'm not very familiar with it, but I have been here several times. Saying that, Hulina pulled Huo Rao and Yi Lanshan out, while Huo Rao glanced at Zhu Jiangxing. Seeing that Zhu Jiangxing just smiled, she followed Hulina and walked out together, while Yi Lanshan on the other side stared at Ji Fei. He took a few glances. Ji Fei was a little puzzled. He didn't seem to know Yi Lanshan, right? But Ji Fei still smiled kindly at her. Brother Ji, Brother Zhu, the two of us will take you to familiarize yourself with the general situation of Wuhandian Academy, but let's go back to the host first, and then we will go to the cafeteria to have a meal, eat and chat, and later our days are still long. Ziyu looked at Ji Fei and Zhu Jiangxing, and he knew that there would be more time for the seven of them to live, fight and cooperate in the future. Yan also came over, rubbing his head in embarrassment. Hehe, don't think we attacked you last night. The main reason is that you are stronger, and those other people are like weak chickens. My temper as long as you don't feel disgusted. Ji Fei just smiled lightly. Aren't we stronger? Okay. We are already very strong. Ha 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 ha. The separate teaching building is single, but it is different from the large number of rooms in ordinary colleges. This Wuhandian Academy basically has 3 people in one class, so there are very many rooms separated between each teaching building. And according to Ziyu's further information, Zhang Xiaojifei learned that there would be a lot of students in Wuhandian Academy if they all gathered together, but most of them followed their instructors to go out for more or less experience or to complete some tasks, or when one of their team reached the point where they needed to obtain a spirit ring, the mentor who led the team would also go there. Ji Fei, that immortal Douluo is indeed a weird person. According to the current soul masters, he is an evil soul master, but he has faith in his heart. His favorite thing is money, which is gold soul coins. Luo quietly appeared on Ji Fei's shoulder again. Oh. Do you know him? Ji Fei was naturally puzzled. He was naturally interested in this undead Douluo whom he had never met before, and after hearing Hulina's words, this Douluo had some special quirks. Presumably it was Luo, the so-called love of money. You knew each other before. Luo said slowly, it's just that you forgot. Anyway, he won't do anything to you. On the contrary, maybe he came here because of you. Also, what is that Yi Lanshan? You can figure it out yourself, and I may not appear often in the future. I need to gather my own strength. Be careful when you do anything. And a year later Tang, if Heo comes to pick you up, just follow your own thoughts. I have always been by your side, from before to now. Lulo's figure gradually became blurred. Ji Fei suddenly felt a sense of loss when he saw Lulo disappearing slowly, and then he slowly came back to his senses and remained silent for a long time. Unknowingly, he came to the dormitory building under the leadership of Ziyu and Yan. Compared with the arrangement of classrooms, the dormitory building is even bigger. From the outside, every room was very spacious. At first Ji Fei thought they would live in that kind of single family room, but obviously not. And according to Ziyu, where is the classroom and some senior soul masters who are about to graduate live, and there are almost no people there. The dormitory building is a duplex structure, about 3 or 4 floors high, and the outside is covered with unknown decorations. It looks rather simple, but it is definitely not old, but it makes people feel so tall and tall. Uncle Lee. Ziyu yelled at an old man guarding the gate of the dormitory building, and then the old man in the room just waved his hand and smiled through the window to signal them to go in. End of this chapter. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 82. Expensive, not expensive. Here, it seems that the dormitories of the 4 of us have been arranged to one side, so that it is obviously more convenient to take care of each other. How can you say that you all have no bedding? Ziyu stood at the door of the dormitory. The structure of the host floor was a bit special. From the perspective of the place where Ji Fei and the other 4 lived, it seemed to be surrounded by a square, but it was not as expected that sense of congestion. I have it, how could I not bring it with me? Zhu Jiangxing smiled slightly and took out a small ball from his pocket and then explained, this is a special storage soul guide and you can put some life in it. Supplies. Ji-Fei looked at the small ball in Zhu Jiangxing's hand and subconsciously touched the kiking ring on his index finger. Isn't his kiking ring a kind of soul tool in a sense, but it is different from ordinary soul guides? After all, the 7 emotions ring seems to need special blood to activate it. Perhaps this is why it was reserved for him. By the way, fighting among students is not allowed in Wuhandian Academy. There is also an organization called the Soul Master Association in the academy. Almost all of them are senior and responsible Soul Master seniors, and their duty is to arrest those students who fight and use martial spirits in the academy. We are freshmen. Although there are not many people in the academy who will be idle and find trouble, this possibility is not ruled out. In short, it is good not to cause trouble yourself. See you exhorted and then open to a house. After packing up, let's go to the cafeteria to eat together. We haven't eaten since last night. Ji-Fei nodded, and then he opened the door of his room, and an elegant fragrance came slowly. The room was large, with 2 separate beds, and the transparent sunlight shone through the huge window in front. The wardrobes are placed beside the 2 beds, and the roof is dotted with special fluorite, which emits light at night and absorbs the sunlight coming in from the outside during the day. The room as a whole is very tidy. Ji-Fei can be sure that, even if no one lives there, someone will clean it every day. He also has nothing to clean up tomorrow. He took the bedding out of the kiking ring and spread it on the bed. What he cared about was lying on the bed, looking at the few fluorites on the ceiling. He fell into deep thought for a while. Ji-Fei didn't know how long he had been lying there, but it was the knock on the door that woke him up. Ji-Fei staggered to open the door, feeling a little sleepy and unable to do anything. A feeling of, "Brother Ji left, let's go to the cafeteria to eat and get familiar with the environment." By the way, standing outside the door was Yuan and Zhu Jiangxing. It seemed that the 3 of them also rested for a while, and their spirits seemed to be much stronger than Ji-Fei's. Ji-Fei tidied up his messy lavender hair a little bit, but in the eyes of Zhu Jiangxing and Yan, it always felt strange that a 6 or 7-year-old child's hair was so long and so delicate. I'm afraid that even a little girl has no problem. Brother Ji, to be honest, you can't really be a woman, are you? Yan fully displayed his straightforward character, and maybe he couldn't help but be puzzled to ask this question. Am I not manly at all? Ji-Fei answered this question with embarrassment, shook his head and continued, your thoughts are too strange. Is it already this time? When Ji-Fei walked out of the dormitory door, he raised his head and looked at the gradually setting sun in the distance, somewhat vaguely. The formal class will start tomorrow. Speaking of which, I'm still looking forward to the Douluo who is titled Immortal. Zhu led the way. There is a Douluo with a title, who teaches us to practice and helps us obtain soul rings on the road of cultivation. Basically, we can go through a few years smoothly, and I don't know what kind of scene will be the freshman exchange competition 3 months later. According to what Zhu said, freshmen like them will have a so-called exchange game 3 months after entering the academy, and the main purpose of this exchange game is actually to have a look at what each tutor teaches the students. The ability to memorize how much each student's respective ability can improve within 3 months. That's right, the journeys of titled Douluo level powerhouses are unheard of by us, and more or less soul masters who can cultivate to the titled Douluo level have great chances, although there are no titles in our sect. Douluo level powerhouses, but I have heard of many. At this moment, Zhu Jiangxing's eyes were somewhat yearning. After all, a titled Douluo level powerhouse is enough to make an unknown force or family stand in an instant, become an existence. That is enough to look down on the next 4 sects. Why did the next 4 sects have the word next? Obviously, there are no titled Douluo level powerhouses sitting in their sect, but after the legend, which one of the last 3 sects does not have at least one titled Douluo level powerhouse? The lower 4 sects are not bad, and it's not that they have no talents. It's more that the combat power of the upper class is not comparable to the existence of the upper 3 sects. Hey, where is the cafeteria? In order to avoid friction between the upper grades and the lower grades during meals due to some small things, Wuhandian Academy has built a separate cafeteria for soul masters of each age. It is said that this is the exclusive canteen for new students, and when we enter the 2nd grade, the canteen will be changed, and of course the food should also change. As soon as he stepped into the cafeteria, Ji-Fei found that there were not many people there. Perhaps the freshmen who had just entered school might not even know where the cafeteria was, or maybe the excitement after entering the new environment had overwhelmed the feeling of hunger. Clean. The layout of this cafeteria is actually not very different from the window where food was served in the cafeteria of Ji-Fei's previous school. Looking around, there are almost dozens of windows, and the prices of delicacies and exquisite images are hung above each window. It was specially drawn, and it is quite lifelike anyway. But Ji-Fei couldn't help thinking of a common saying about food in his previous life: the image is only a reference. I hope I can eat it. Although I don't pick anything. After all, the porridge and pickles in the past few years are not free, as long as it suits your taste, but there should be something that suits your appetite, no matter how bad you come to so many windows, right? The prices of these meals don't seem to be very expensive. Ji-Fei took a big look. Steamed pig, a golden soul coin. Vinegar, year-old green sunflower, 2 gold soul coins. Why are these meals so expensive? Zhu Jiangxing's surprised voice sounded in the cafeteria, and many soul masters who were eating looked at Ji-Fei and the group with astonished eyes. End of this chapter. Chapter 83. Jiangxing, the one you saw, is the most expensive, and almost all of them are made of soul beasts, so of course the price will be expensive. Ji-Fei glanced at Zhu Jiangxing helplessly. Got a meal for Regenta McCoy. This guy actually took a fancy to the food in the golden soul coin section. This and that. Zhu Jiangxing naturally felt the gazes of the nearby soul masters who were eating, as if they were looking at fools. Maybe they now thought that Ji-Fei and his group couldn't even pay for the simplest white rice set meal. Brother Ji-Fei. Hulina's shout broke the increasingly embarrassing situation. Hulina, Huorao, and Yi Lanshan had already changed into school uniforms that fit the golden feathers, and they looked even more beautiful. Huorao's eyes naturally turned away quickly when it landed on Zhu Jiangxing's body. Those eyes seemed to be asking Zhu Jiangxing, "Look, do I look good in this school uniform?" Yi Lanshan stood aside, pinching the hem of her clothes, and did not speak. "You guys are here too. Let's eat together. Let's go to the private room on the 2nd floor. The class of 7 of us is gathered together. Let's celebrate." Ziyu proposed to go directly to the 2nd floor attic to order a meal alone. As soon as the remark came out, some people who had been immersed in eating showed more or less envious expressions. If you know that the 2nd floor is not easy to go up, enter. If you don't have dozens of gold soul coins for a meal in the attic on the 2nd floor, you won't be able to get it down at all. Dozens of gold soul coins are not a small amount. The average student may be able to eat very good meals for several months. Well, that's a good suggestion. Ji-Fei also nodded. He should also learn to integrate into such a new environment as soon as possible. You need to be happy physically and mentally to be able to do more with less. You guys go. I'll just eat below. Yi Lanshan lowered her head and seemed a little embarrassed. After all, Ji-Fei also lived such a life, and quickly noticed her embarrassment, as if she was afraid that there would be no money to pay. Ahem. Since it's on the 2nd floor for dinner, you girls can just order whatever you want. The money matter is naturally our boys' responsibility. Ji-Fei patted Ziyu and Yan's shoulders and his eyes fell on Zhu Jiangxing at the same time. Do you think so? Haha, it's natural. Yeah, Sister Lanshan. Anyway, there are men like them. What are we worried about? Let's go. Go eat something delicious. I'm hungry too. Huorao stared at Yi Lanshan and smiled happily. Yi Lanshan raised her head, looking at Huorao, Ji-Fei and the others. She suddenly felt a sense of seriousness that she had never had before. Maybe it was something she had never felt before. The attic on the 2nd floor is indeed magnificent and luxurious. As Ziyu said, every partition is a private room, but it seems that there are no soul masters eating in it. The possible reason is that the price is too expensive. Hey, where did such a punctual younger sister come from? And there are 3 of them at once. Come and have a drink with the brothers. Okay. Ji-Fei frowned and looked at the 3 people who suddenly came out of the private room. Their rosy faces seemed to be drunk. They didn't seem to be freshmen who just entered school this year. They should be repeaters whose soul power level could not be improved. Looking for death. Yan suddenly stood up, standing in front of the drunk man with a tall body that surpassed his peers, as if the next moment, if the drunk guy dared to utter a word and dared to take a step forward, his hands the fist will release a strong flame and then smash it hard on the top of the person's head. Don't look at how easy it was to win the battle between Fei and the three of them last night, but Yan's strength cannot be underestimated in a real battle, and the attribute type of flame is even more terrifying to several points. Water simply cannot extinguish such a terrifying flame. Heh. Freshman? A freshman who doesn't know what to do wants a hero to save the beauty? He wants to save three. Ha ha ha, hurry up and see. These little dolls want to attack me, a senior. The drunk man yelled at the two companions in the private room. Senior? Fei smiled contemptuously and then walked over slowly. Fei didn't move too much and just raised his hand and slapped the drunk man's face fiercely. Tell me, senior, did you take the wrong medicine this morning, or did the medicine work? Snapped. The stern palm contained the strong power of the attached soul bone, and the drunk man's face was distorted in an instant, and he could even hear the clear sound of bone cracking. A slap. Just a slap to the face, bones cracked. He covered his mouth in pain. He couldn't even speak clearly. He was just yelling for something, while his two companions watched Fei make a move and released their soul power instantly. They wanted to suppress Fei, but neither of them used Wuhan, because they knew that using Wuhan and using soul power in the academy were two different concepts system. How about it? Want to do it? Fei clapped his hands, looking disgusted. You still want to play hooligans with your appearance? Go home and practice more. Salty pig hands. Ziyu, Yan, Zhu Jiangxing, Hu Lina, Yi Lanshan, and Huo Raoul looked at Fei's back in bewilderment. They thought that Fei was at most a kind guy, but they suddenly ran away, and this slap just deformed this person's face. This is too incredible, right? You, which first grade class are you in? I must tell our tutor. Get ready for your tutor to be punished with a fine. One of the men supported the drunken man who was whining non-stop and pointed at him. Fei just questioned. Oh, we are in the same class. If you want to come, we just start classes tomorrow. It's best to invite all your tutors, otherwise. Fei walked away from the side. This kind of guy, he feels that saying one more sentence is a waste of his time. Class. Okay, you wait. Let me tell you that our mentor is a Soul Emperor level powerhouse. You can wait tomorrow. After speaking, the two of them stood still and were still groaning. The guy who stopped walked downstairs. Don't they know that the instructors of the first class are basically titled Douluo level powerhouses? Zhu Jiangxing looked at Ziyu with some doubts. Or are they drunk? Who knows, maybe it's their ignorance that caused them to be repeated in the first grade. Ziyu said lightly, but Brother G's style instructor surprised me. He actually has such a strong power. Could it be that Brother G is so angry at the crown that he is a beauty? Fei. End of this chapter. Chapter 84. Knowing that there are tigers in the mountains, I prefer to walk in the mountains. I'm late. I'm going to be late. Brother Yan. I'm late. Brother Z. Why don't you pay attention to the time? Hey, Brother Zhu, Huorao is here to lift your quilt. Fei was dressed in a robe of golden feathers. His not so tall body was paired with long lavender hair. His delicate face and fair skin revealed a natural posture in every part. Fei knocked on the door of the dormitory next to him. He was so anxious. If he wasn't afraid of destroying public property, he might have broken in directly with his soul power. Today can be said to be the first day of school, and they are about to be late. They slept a little late last night. They ate and chatted happily on the second floor of the cafeteria. This is also true. It made the distance between them much closer. The few of them successfully won the auction within the team. Fei is very difficult to deal with. He is definitely the strongest in terms of strength, but he is actually the second last in terms of age, and he is only a few days older than Yi Lanshan. That's all. This is very difficult to deal with. The original Brother Zhu has completely become his fourth Brother Zhu this time, and Fei is going to stop calling him fifth sister, if Huorao says it, and just call him fourth sister. It's over. Let me just say that I shouldn't have been drinking last night. Sixth brother, go first and we won't be late together. Yan's voice came out from the room. and the rustling of clothes could be heard faintly. Ziyu and Zhu Jiangxing seemed to have already started to get up. Ji-Fei shook his head hoarsely. Let's go first. Forget it. Let's be punished together. I don't know what kind of guy this undead Douluo is. If he really hates being late, he will be screwed. After waiting for another 5 or 6 minutes, Yang came out first and seemed to wash up specially, followed by Ziyu, and finally Zhu Jiangxing. Ji-Fei didn't know if Zhu Jiangxing heard that Huorao was coming and deliberately I dressed up a bit, but it didn't look so hasty anyway. Should we have another breakfast? We're already late anyway, so it's not too late. Zhu Jiangxing reminded from the side. Anyway, he doesn't have a strong sense of time. Some soul master knowledge, but it's all about when to wake up naturally and when to learn and practice. Still eating, I'm afraid. I seem to have felt a wave of anger from a titled Douluo level powerhouse coming towards us. Ji-Fei glared at Zhu Jiangxing angrily. Hurry up and run. It's okay, 6th brother. You will be late with my brothers. Go for a walk and have breakfast. People are like iron, rice or steel. If you don't eat a meal, you will be hungry. Can I treat you? Yang didn't seem to be so anxious just now. Yes, I patted my chest, as if there was something wrong. Your 2nd brother and I were supporting you. Well, a good idea. Ziyu also looked indifferent. 6th brother, don't panic. Eat first to be sure. If there is any punishment, you won't be hungry. Ji-Fei suddenly felt that he had entered a den of thieves. They were a group of high-profile guys, as if they didn't pay much attention to mentors at the title Douluo level. Ji-Fei shook his head helplessly. Forget it. Forget it. Anyway, I've had 8 lifetimes of bad luck with you, so don't panic after eating first. There was no one in the cafeteria, except for a few people who were cleaning. After entering the cafeteria, Ji-Fei and his party were completely stunned. Is it so uniform? Why am I a little panicked now? Zhu Jiangxing wiped his forehead subconsciously and felt embarrassed when he found that there was no sweat. It's just late. Let's go and have breakfast. Yan ran to the window with several large plates and then pointed to the dining table over there to signal to Ji-Fei and the others to hurry up and prepare them. After a gust of wind swept through the clouds, Ji-Fei originally wanted to run into the classroom, but Yan said, 6th brother, how can you do strenuous exercise after eating just now? Walk slowly and don't rush. Here, don't panic if I give you a toothpick. Ji-Fei no longer knew whether this guy was really not afraid or if he already felt that he had to die anyway, and a graceful death was better than a panicked one. As a result, Ji-Fei didn't feel anything, took the toothpick and put it in his mouth, and even started to walk slowly. And when the 4 of them walked to the door of the classroom, they looked at the door number above, Class 1, Grade 1, and they were sure that this was their classroom. They wanted to see what the scene inside looked like through the window, but found that the window was closed by something, and it seemed that one could only see the outside from the inside, and the outside could not see the inside at all. Your Majesty, please forgive me. I beg you, I have eyes that don't know Mount-te, and I don't know that the general mentor is you. Please forgive me. Howling. This was the first sound Ji-Fei heard. It was the wail of a middle-aged man. The 4 of Ji-Fei looked at each other and seemed to think of something quickly. When the 4 of them walked to the door, suddenly, he saw such a scene. There was a young man standing on the podium. His scarlet and introverted eyes were uncontrollably released, and his strangeness was highlighted by his special white hair. He even wore a special robe, which looked simple and simple. And at his feet, a middle-aged man knelt down on the ground. He didn't even dare to lift his head. He just kept admitting his mistake and begging for mercy. Hulina, Huorao, and Yi Lanshan were all watching and suddenly realized that Ji-Fei and the others were coming and looked at the 4 of them with dull eyes. Hulina had a wicked smile and Huorao waited fiercely, looking at Zhu Jiangxing. Only Yi Lanshan just stared blankly at Ji-Fei. The young man seemed to have also seen Ji-Fei and his group and suddenly said, you can do it. The old man dared to be late for the first class, so don't say anything. The explanation is just to cover up. Come on, each one the fine of the gold soul coin. Don't say I'm pocketing it, because you guys are late. Today the old man issued a class rule in the first class. Latecomers will not receive any punishment. 1 gold soul coin for 1 time. 2 for the second time, 4 for the third time, 16 for the fifth time, and so on. There is no upper limit. The voice sounded weird. Fei was a little confused. He suddenly thought of what Douluo told him. This undead Douluo loves money very much, but now Fei feels that perhaps in the eyes of this undead Douluo, money is the measure of everything's things. Also, were you guys threatened by his students yesterday? Immortal Douluo blinked and looked at the middle-aged man who was kneeling and begging for mercy. Everyone else was a little confused. Only Fei was the first to react and quickly looked annoyed. Ah, teacher. So you are our teacher. Everyone was shocked when they heard Fei's tone. What is this guy doing? End of this chapter. Chapter 85. One sing one sum. Yes, teacher. Don't you know how miserable we were bullied by others yesterday? We wanted to celebrate and have a light meal, but we didn't expect to meet 3 first grade old students. They saw there are 3 girls in our group who speak rudely and insult them. How can we 4 boys not make a move? The hot temper came up in an instant, but we still bear in mind the college's regulations that cannot use soul power. But those 3 the old students are too despicable, relying on the old students to use their soul power unscrupulously, and also said that they are not afraid of anything with the protection of the teacher. The 4 of us were beaten very badly. Fei pretended to be crying and raised his left hand to wipe the corner of his eyes, but the immortal Douluo's gaze was fixed on the kiking ring on Fei's index finger. Then a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth, and he continued to listen to Fei's story. Especially my big brother Ziyu, who was belittled to nothing by those 3 people, and my second brother Yan, who was beaten up by them and called a big fool, and fourth brother, Zhu Jiangxing. They were also beaten up severely, and when they left, they said that it was really bad luck to meet us, and let us not tell other people what happened last night, or they will beat us every time they see us in the future. Woo woo. Absolutely, it is really too absolute. The corners of Ziyu's mouth couldn't help twitching. He looked at Fei, who covered his face and cried, and seemed to have discovered a wonderful new continent. It's like returning to the general. Yan, on the other hand, felt a little weird. Why was he being called an idiot after being beaten? The middle-aged man kneeling on the ground was trembling to the extreme, which was completely different from what his 3 incompetent students said. He originally thought that this year's freshman class would be an enlightened titled Douluo, tell him what his student did, and let him discipline him properly, and the matter will pass. Unexpectedly, he was beaten to the ground by this titled Douluo as soon as he came in, and asked him why he was late. Really? Good. Very good. You dare to hit my good students, and dare to scold my students. You have the guts, and you are still using soul power in the college. According to the college's system, your position as a teacher must be gone of. No. Your Majesty, I beg you, I can't lose this job. Please don't report it to the academy. The middle-aged man raised his head and begged in panic. Huh? Are you teaching me how to do things? Undead Douluo was obviously very angry, but suddenly his face softened again, as if he had some more wonderful idea. Well, it's not impossible to discuss it. When the middle-aged man heard this, he definitely had something to say. Strike while the iron is hot. Say it, Your Majesty. Please tell me, no matter what the conditions are stated, I will agree to you. Immortal Douluo suddenly laughed when he heard it, and suddenly took out an abacus out of thin air, slap, slap, and started to make calculations. Since you are my dear student, you have to increase the price and hit 4 of my male students. 1 is gold soul coins, and then 3 are insulted, mental damage fee. 1 is gold soul coins, and then I will conceal it for you. The other 7 students can be counted as yuan, and then I feel very upset if you have nothing to do and your student molested the female students of the old man. This old man is also very angry. These 7s and 8s, if 8 soul coins add up, get a discount. 100 million gold soul coins. PFFT. Fei almost fell to his knees on the ground. You must have broken a bone. 100 million. Ziyu was stunned. I'm afraid this is an amount that even Wu Hundian can't take out casually, right? And the sum of the amount of time limit will not reach 100 million gold soul coins. And Undying Douluo also said a discount. Obviously this Undying Douluo just didn't want to bypass this middle-aged man. How is it possible? Your Majesty, it is impossible to add up to 100 million gold soul coins. Didn't you say that there is still a discount? The middle-aged man looked up and stared at the condescending undead Douluo. His eyes were full of frightened. 100 million gold soul coins. Even if he doesn't eat or drink for the rest of his life, he still can't get them out. The old man naturally knows that you can't get it out. If you can really get it out, the 100 million will become 1000 million. Although the old man loves money like his life, there is another place that the old man can't touch, which is to provoke the old man's students. There are people who know each other, and they will be killed without mercy. Undying Douluo narrowed his eyes slightly. In vain, an invisible blood-red soul power poured into the middle-aged man's body. In an instant, the man's body began to swell without limit. The next moment, with a bang, the middle-aged man's body instantly turned into blood mist, died. A kingdom and powerful existence at the level of Soul Emperor was wiped out just like this, and Defying didn't even make a move when he saw the undead Douluo. That invisible blood mist seemed to suddenly appear from the air. Ugh. Whoorao below seemed to smell the special smell of the blood mist and suddenly vomited. Although it was retching, it seemed that she had seen a murder for the first time. Hulina couldn't believe it. The undead Douluo actually killed the Soul Emperor mentor. Yi Lanshan stared at Defying indifferently like this. Defying was a little puzzled. He always felt that what was going on with Yi Lanshan? Okay, you four don't forget to bring the money to the old man tomorrow. Half a gold soul coin is not allowed. You go find a seat and sit down. Let's get to know each other well. Undead Douluo pointing to the four of Defying, and then pointing to the seat below. He didn't seem to care about what happened just now. Let's get to know each other formally. Immortal Douluo looked at the 7 people below and said indifferently, this old man is titled Immortal. You can call me Immortal in the future, or you can call me Old Immortal, but I just came here recently. It can be regarded as the first time to be a teacher, but I will still pass on the best cultivation knowledge and practical experience to you, and strive to make you become a real strong in the shortest time. This title. Teacher, how old are you? Why do you look so young? Hulina looked at undead Douluo strangely. Immortal Douluo said, how old are you this year? I don't remember either. Anyway, I've lived for a long time. Immortal Douluo stroked a jade ring on his left hand and smiled slightly. Don't talk about me being an old man. Each of you can introduce yourself, so I can get to know you formally, and tell you as for the soul skills and the like. The most of you will get 2 soul rings, right? Teacher, are you wrong? Our eldest is only 9 years old. How could it be possible to have 2 soul rings? At most, 1 soul ring. Okay. Ziyu explained. His soul power seemed to be the highest, right? That's right. Yan also nodded. How could it be possible to have a spirit power of level at the age of less than 10 years old? End of this chapter. Chapter 86, The Scary Yi Lanshan. Then do you think the old man is joking? Immortal Douluo stared at the corner of Yan's mouth with a smile. Obviously, he would not have any doubts about his own interpretation, and as a powerhouse at the title Douluo level, he would even miss this? Defying, I won't talk about you for the time being. Immortal Douluo's gaze skipped over Defying after a short pause. Sure enough, I can't hide it from a titled Douluo level powerhouse. Defying felt helpless secretly. No matter how much he hid it, no matter how unsuited to his soul skills, he might not be able to escape the eyes of the titled Douluo level powerhouse. Come on, Yi Lanshan, tell them your own spirit power level first, and then introduce your own martial spirit to them. Immortal Douluo smiled and looked at Yi Lanshan, who was sitting next to Hulina. The blood read the deep meaning and the eyes can't help it. Me. Yi Lanshan nodded. I'm a little over 6 years old this year, with a soul power of level 25, and a martial soul with the Tree of Life, which is a martial soul of the auxiliary system. What? How is this possible? 6-year-old level 25 soul power. Ziyu, Yan, Zhu Jiangxing, and even Jifei's eyes were instantly attracted. Jifei was relatively calm. Yi Lanshan's martial soul should be a god level martial soul, right? Then her own innate full soul power can reach the 20 level existence, which is undoubtedly very terrifying. Sister Lanshan, you didn't lie to us, did you? Hulina looked at Yi Lanshan. It was unbelievable, but a little over 6 years old, that is, not long after awakening her martial spirit, she had a soul power of level 25. Yu Lanshan shook her head very seriously, and then she slowly released her soul power. Everyone present could only feel a very strong breath of life being released from Yu Lanshan's body, accompanied by green light floating. The two soul rings rose up gradually. One yellow, one purple. Hiss. 1,000-year soul ring. How is it possible? The second soul ring has reached the level of a 1,000-year soul ring. How can this be believed? Ziyu looked at the 2 rounds of soul rings rising from Yu Lanshan's body and quickly rubbed them, rubbing his eyes. He couldn't believe that this seemingly impossible thing happened before his eyes today. Okay, put it away. Yu Lanshan's martial spirit is very unique. That's why I came here. To tell you the truth, Lanshan is actually my precious apprentice. If you dare to bully her in the future. Everyone present couldn't help but think of the strong soul emperor who had just turned into a cloud of blood mist and shivered subconsciously in an instant. So, teacher, did you come to Wuhandian Academy because of Lanshan? Hulina looked at undead Douluo and seemed to be thinking a little bit. Oh, I'm old too, and I can't make any money, so I came here with Lanshan girl to be a teacher to make money. Undead Douluo said this passage with a young appearance. It makes people feel a little uncomfortable. This aura. Fei was stunned when he felt the previous aura. What a familiar aura. Douluo. Why is it so similar to Douluo's aura? But Douluo clearly. Boy Fei, come here. Don't hide anything. Will you hide your wedding and soul ring when you fight in the future? Although I can't see through the special nature of your martial soul, but the old man you fought that night, as you can see clearly. Ah. This, that. Fei looked at the others. Haha, actually, my soul power is not level 24, but level. Cut. Let me just say, how could we not be able to beat a 14th level soul master? You see, the 6th brother turned out to be a 24th level great soul master, and suddenly felt much better in my heart. Yang patted Ziyu, smiled slightly. Aren't they shocked? Shouldn't you tell me that my level 24 soul power is actually level 24? It's so scary. It turns out that the 6th brother is so powerful. Come on, big brother, let you do it. We are all your little brothers. But actually, Ziyu also nodded. That's right. It's not unfair to lose. Fei, ahem, cough. Well, now that we realize that this is the end, don't forget that you must hand in every fine. As long as it can be solved with gold soul coins, it's not a problem with me. Of course, there is no charge for teaching you how to practice. After all, you are one of the few students in my life. Immortal Douluo's blood pupils turned. Speaking of which, except for Fei and Lanshan, the strength of the 5 of you is indeed not enough, and you are 8 or 9 years old, but have less than 20 level soul power. Is the Soul Palace cultivating the strength of newcomers? Let's not talk about Zhujiangxing and Huoro. Why are you 3 so slow? Ziyu was taken aback. Mr. Undead knows the origins of the 3 of us. That's right. In your opinion, our cultivation speed is indeed slow, but this is the teaching of that person. She told us that the previous cultivation cannot, it's too radical. We can only gradually consolidate our foundation and understanding of soul power, and after we break through level, we can basically start to greatly improve our cultivation. Immortal Douluo shook his head. This method is inappropriate, very inappropriate. Since you will be my students in the future, I will decide how to practice. I will let you lay a solid foundation while practicing quickly. Of course, since the old man's student soul ring is naturally the top one, the old man is good to the students, just like the weak soul ring. The first soul ring comes from the extremely 100-year-old soul beast Zuayu Binglian, but old man, I traveled a long distance to the snowy area to capture it, and then the second soul ring, I hunted and killed a 1,000-year-old soul beast in the Stardao forest. Actually, Wuhandian Academy has a big flaw, that is, it accepts students who have obtained the first spirit ring. Since it is vigorously cultivated, they should start to study in the academy after awakening their Wuhan, and be led by their instructors. Hunt and kill the spirit ring that is most suitable for one's own spirit, otherwise it will lead to the existence of a large number of repeat students in Wuhandian Academy, which is also a hidden danger. Immortal Douluo paused, but none of this has anything to do with you. The old man is just teaching you, and then it's up to you to perform missions and so on. The old man doesn't want you to watch, and then I will take action. It's nothing like that. Benefit. Then how should we practice? Ji-Fei looked at immortal Douluo. Tang Heo had never taught him the method of soul master cultivation. The time he had put aside was very precious. He could feel the slow progress of his soul power, but there was no adjustment. This is what Ji-Fei needs to solve as soon as possible now, and it cannot be delayed any longer. There are shortcuts to the cultivation of soul masters, but they are not suitable for you, so the only thing you can rely on is enlightenment, and the rest of the old man can teach you only 4 words: live with the situation. End of this chapter. Chapter 87 GFEI and -039, S mysterious origin. Ji-Fei Lanshan stays here. You go back first. Wait for the classroom to gather in the afternoon. The old man received a task for you yesterday and set off overnight tonight. Of course, the old man will also accompany you to pass on the knowledge of real soul master cultivation. Undead Douluo raised his finger and pointed to Ji-Fei and Yi Lanshan behind him. Zia boy, the 3 of you naturally know what the mission of Wuhandian Academy represents, right? Tell Zhu Jiangxing and Huo Rao about the degree of danger and precautions. Ziyu nodded, but it can be seen that his expression is obviously a bit dignified. Is he going out to do the task assigned by Wuhandian Academy on the first day? I don't know how many stars the difficulty of the task is. I hope it's not too difficult. Hulina whispered something meaningful to Yi Lanshan, and then Yi Lanshan's pretty face, which was originally indifferent, turned slightly rosy. Hulina smiled and walked out. Yan followed behind. Zhu Jiangxing and Huora also went out together, although they also knew that Wuhandian Academy used tasks to evaluate the strength of their respective classes. But this, who knows what the mission is? And even if their soul power is only over 10 levels, it shouldn't be a very difficult task to complete the task, right? Definitely not a difficult task. Ji-Fei was a little puzzled. What did Undead Douluo leave him for? Ji-Fei didn't refute Undead Douluo's saying that he can live with the situation. Maybe everyone's cultivation method is completely different. After all, every soul master's spirit is different, so the method of cultivation, it will be different. Do you know why you 2 were asked to stay? Immortal Douluo stared at Ji-Fei and Yi Lanshan. Yi Lanshan just stood up and didn't say anything. Ji-Fei shook his head. Who knows? I don't know. And that immortal Douluo took advantage of the opportunity to look at the ring on Ji-Fei's left hand. The ring of 7 emotions. Yes. It seems that Tang Heo is quite keeping his promise. Lanshan, why don't you want to tell him who you are? Or do you still want to keep hiding it? Yi Lanshan was moved, but Ji-Fei was at a loss. Do you know Kai King ring? Naturally, like this ring. This is a special symbol. Although the old man won't tell you too much, you need to know that you carry a lot of things. Ji-Fei, do you really not recognize who I am? Yi Lanshan walked over slowly, staring at Ji-Fei with restrained pale green eyes. Ji-Fei was taken aback. It feels a bit familiar, but I can't seem to say it. Suddenly, Yi Lanshan moved closer to Ji-Fei, then leaned against Ji-Fei's ear, blew lightly, and said softly, "Then what now?" Ji-Fei's thoughts flashed like lightning, and his body began to tremble involuntarily. You. What does it look like? The breath of green radish. This is the small and extremely cold green radish. What's the matter? Haven't you remembered yet? Did you have to slap you a few times before you remembered who I am? Yi Lanshan took another step or 2 away from Ji-Fei and stared at Ji-Fei calmly. Are you really Douluo? How is it possible? You, Douluo, did not expect. I don't dare to think about it at all. No wonder Douluo said that she will disappear for a while. What's going on? Ji-Fei looked at Yi Lanshan and Undead Douluo in a daze. My lord, should you explain to the whole master or the old man? Immortal Douluo bowed to Yi Lanshan with a little respect. My lord? Palace master? Ji-Fei was obviously about to be in a mess. Aren't you a master-student relationship? Why? Okay, don't think about it so much. You can explain it to him. If you don't die, don't talk about irrelevant things, at least until he breaks the seal. Yi Lanshan looked at Ji-Fei. Her eyes were a strained pale green. There seemed to be an inexplicable emotion flooding the pupils. Undead Douluo nodded. This old man and the master are not in a master-student relationship, but you should say that you are our whole master. Because of some special reasons, your memory has been imprisoned, and you made a mistake. Adopted by Tang Heo, do you still remember your martial soul? Will the second martial soul be destroyed? Ji-Fei hesitated at first, and then nodded. He could tell that undead Douluo respected him. That kind of real respect, undisguised respect. That's your original martial soul. As for why you have another martial soul now, although I can't see the reason, it is beneficial and harmless to you, Hall Master. The Lord has been leading us to search for you all these years, until we used a special secret method to lead to the awakening of your martial soul, and then the Lord split a life source, and injected it into the Master's martial soul. Therefore, an existence like Douluo has been constructed, and the real will still belongs to the Lord. Then who am I? Who am I? Who are my parents? Ji-Fei looked at undead Douluo blankly. These things seemed difficult for him to accept in an instant. You have no parents. Undead Douluo replied with great respect, bowing slightly. You, like the Lord, were born of the will of heaven and earth. Do you still remember the statue of destruction in Wuhandian College? Ji-Fei nodded. Ziyu told him the story between the angel and the destruction. That statue is actually you, the Lord of the Palace, but because of some special reasons, you became like this. Judging by your age, you are at least hundreds of years old. Me. Hundreds of years old? Ji-Fei looked at his little hands. Then do you know why I became like this? Yi Lanshan turned around. Ji-Fei, what can we do if we know now? The strength of the two of us is not as strong as before, and I have completely become a soul master now. Some things are not telling you, but that we are too weak. Yes, Lord, what the Lord said is correct, but as long as the Lord has the ring of 7 emotions, there is nothing to be afraid of. The 1000-year divine calamity has passed, and you only need to call our 7-feeling bishop to protect the Dharma again. King can reign over the entire Douluo Continent once again. Undead. Yi Lanshan's tone intensified in vain. I said a long time ago that King can't reappear in the world. Ji-Fei and I just want to live a peaceful life. Have you forgotten the horror of God's tribulation? If Ji-Fei didn't protect you, if you hadn't, you would have been wiped out long ago, right? Immortal Douluo was taken aback. My lord, that's why we have to repay the Lord's life-saving grace. Anyway, the old man has issued a summoning order before, and those old guys who have retreated will reappear in a few years at most. You. There was anger in Yi Lanshan's eyes, and suddenly, she saw Ji-Fei holding her hand. Douluo, no, Lanshan, although I remember what happened, I remember you said that you will always be by my side. Mine, right? Yi Lanshan was taken aback. She looked at Ji-Fei, then nodded heavily. I've always been here, and I will definitely be here. Ji-Fei smiled, very easily, and then he looked at undead Douluo. Immortal Douluo, since you respectfully call me Palace Master, then I will order you in the name of Palace Master. You are just doing me something the teacher imparts the knowledge of our soul master's cultivation, and you are not allowed to interfere with other things. Hal Master, you. Immortal Douluo looked at Ji-Fei and Yi Lanshan beside him, and sighed helplessly. I knew it would be like this. Maybe I shouldn't even say it today. Oh, that's all. That's all. Let the past glory pass by. The old man will also protect you by the side of the palace lord in the future. I still want to watch you marry the lord, but unfortunately I didn't see it hundreds of years ago, but this time it will be fine. Undead. Ji-Fei subconsciously shook Yi Lanshan's hand. Okay, you two go first. Don't forget to set out the task in the afternoon, and although you are the master of the hall, but now you are the student of the old man, you must have a golden soul coin. Undead Douluo pointed to Ji-Fei. Lanshan, you will definitely help me hand over the gold soul coins, right? Ji-Fei looked at Yi Lanshan affectionately. Yi Lanshan nodded helplessly. What else? Ji-Fei and Yi Lanshan then walked out of the classroom, looking at Yi Lanshan, while walking Ji-Fei. But it's really good of you to hide it. That shy look, that silent expression, are completely different from that aloof Douluo. And in the end you said you wanted me to pay attention to Yi Lanshan, but you didn't expect yourself. Seeing that Ji-Fei didn't seem to feel any unnaturalness because of this matter, Yi Lanshan was also relieved. Originally, she would not allow undead Douluo to tell these things, but undead Douluo insisted on telling, and she was helpless. It's just caused by different original powers. So what do you want me to use? Cold? Or gentler? Yi Lanshan said, while staring at Ji-Fei's profile. Just don't slap your face. End of this chapter. Chapter 88. Kingdom of Abacrona. The Abakron Kingdom is located in the northeast of the Star Luo Empire. It can be regarded as a relatively important subsidiary country of the Star Luo Empire. The overall area is also very large because it borders the extreme north. It is also called by other Soul Masters, the Soul Master from the Snowy Land, the Pure and Pure Soul Master. And in today's Douluo Continent, apart from the Xiandao Empire which borders the sea, this is probably the most fertile place. Although it's freezing cold, it is rich in snowy ice lotus, the price is extremely high, and it is close to the Abakron Kingdom. The surrounding snowy area is also a mysterious place. And the current Star Luo Empire has established a complete system of enfeoffment of Soul Masters from the original provincial system, and at the same time it is truly hereditary for each generation, as long as the incumbent has no major faults, or violates the empire. Basically will always be hereditary. This also led to an imbalance of more than 10 divisions in the power of the Soul Masters in the empire. Some dukes have very strong Soul Masters, while other dukes have very weak Soul Masters. It will be destroyed easily, or it will be slowly eaten away and finally annexed. And there are several very important city-states in the kingdom of Abakrona. Among them is Tos City, which is close to the snowy area, and is rich in snowy ice lotus. Another important and troublesome city-state is Jia City, located at the border. Because Jia City is located on the border, it is said that many Soul Masters from other empires or other kingdoms will come here to trade, which promotes the development of Jia City and provides a huge impetus for the development of the Abakron Kingdom. But this Jia City is also a place where all kinds of Soul Masters are mixed with fish and dragons, and the law and order are very bad. Although there is suppression by the third level hall of the Wuhan Temple, many powerful and terrifying Soul Masters will still use many powerful and terrifying Soul Masters to do some weird things. The sun in the distance gradually slid down from the center of the sky. Among the crowded crowd, the group of 8 people looked very unique, especially the 2 at the back, a man and a woman. The man's purple hair is combed slightly, and his exquisite appearance may even make women envious, but the casual clothes on his body can show a very heroic spirit. His restrained lavender eyes only pay attention to the woman beside him, and at the same time a delicate ring on the fingertips shone with colorful halos. And that woman is also very dazzling, with light green eyes blinking, and the light blue skirt is so natural. People can't help but sigh, how can she wear such thin clothes in such cold weather? That natural appearance and the other side the boy really matched. The slightly raised long hair matched her height of nearly 1.7 meters. She looked very kind. She hugged the arm of the boy beside her. And the 2 seemed to be communicating with each other. And the team leader in front of them was wearing a pale white robe, and his scalded eyes seemed to reveal a terrifying aura. He looked back at the team behind him. This is Chill City. It is indeed very prosperous. It is a great place to make money. Teacher, what exactly is the task you mentioned? It's such a long road from Wuhandian Academy to here. You actually let us run. It's very leisurely for you to make a carriage, and you also asked us to pay the fare. The boy behind him said, helplessly looking at the man who turned back, while wiping the dry dirt on the corner of his clothes. Yes, Teacher Immortal, we girls must at least build a car, right? If you want to run, you can't just come here. The black-haired woman shook her hands and looked helplessly at the leading man. What's the matter? Can't I, an old fellow, ride in a carriage? Letting you run is part of cultivation. Look at Fei and Tang San, and then look at you guys. If there are any complaints, everyone 100 gold soul coins. That's right, this group of 8 people is Fei, Tang San and others led by undead Douluo who set off from Wuhandian Academy some time ago, and the purpose is to come here, to complete a mission issued by Wuhandian Academy. What it is, undead Douluo hasn't told them yet. How can this be compared? You see, the 2 of them are so sweet that they don't feel tired at all, and the 2 of them have higher spirit powers. We can compare with them. Hulina pouted, 7th sister. Tang San was taken aback, looked at Hulina, and asked slowly, what's wrong? Did you entrust yourself to brother Fei so easily? I thought you were going to have an earth-shattering love affair. Really, brother Jiangxing and sister Huora were originally a couple, so it's okay now. It seems that the 2 brothers and sisters and Yan have become outsiders directly. 3rd sister's words are wrong. Tang San and I are in love with each other. What an earth-shattering love is so unrealistic. Besides, shouldn't you also pay attention to the people around you? Fei said consciously or unintentionally. His eyes fell on Yan, and Yan patted his head and smiled foolishly. Okay, let's find a place to rest first, and then I will tell you about the mission this time, and tell you that the mission this time is not easy, but it is also the best time to experience you. Although you are all under 10 years old, but remember, you are my immortal Douluo students. I will only teach the strong. If I'm immortal, it's like I only accept gold soul coins for money. Immortal Douluo's blood eyes moved. Ziyu boy, since it's their eldest brother, so you'll pay for the accommodation expenses, right? This is natural. Ziyu was stunned for a moment, but she didn't care about it. Through getting along the way, he had a thorough understanding of the character of this immortal teacher. Ironcock, not pulling a dime, but the principle is still there. That is, no small money, only gold soul coins. It seems that I should tell Fei and the others to exchange all the gold soul coins on my body into silver soul coins. Hehe, let's see how Teacher Immortal punishes us. Ziyu then restrained her thoughts, secretly thought that this must not be known to undead Douluo, otherwise, he might not know how he would be punished. We will be staying in Geo City for at least a few months recently. While planning for you to complete the mission, the old man will also teach you the cultivation methods of soul masters. The purpose of this time is also very simple. Before returning to Wuhandian Academy, all of you have raised your marriage soul power to level. If you can't improve, you know what to do, right? As he walked, Immortal Douluo was planning his purpose this time. Of course, as titled Douluo level powerhouses, we definitely don't aim for gold soul coins. We mainly do it for these students, okay? What? Zhu Jiangxing and Huo Rao were undoubtedly the ones who reacted the most. Their soul power is only at level 14 now, and they are 6 levels away from level 20. End of this chapter. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 89. How about this hotel? Cupid, looking at the outside specifications, it must be the most luxurious hotel in Geo City. Ziyu stood there and looked at a 5-story hotel with a loft not far away. The whole body was mainly decorated with white tones, and a pink ribbon was used to smudge it in the middle, and the open windows in the middle. It also gives people a new and special feeling. Cupid, god of Cupid. Fei's face was a little cloudy. Does Ziyu not know what kind of hotel this is, or did he do it on purpose? Just don't think about it, just don't think about it. At least we are a decent person. That's right, it's here. Ziyu boy, go open a room. Immortal Douluo pointed, then looked at Ji Lanshan and Fei thoughtfully. Open 8 rooms. Ziyu nodded helplessly. Got it. To be honest, he chose this hotel for a purpose. This Cupid hotel is located in Xiandao and Zingluot hotels, and the only characteristic of such a hotel is there no single room. Isn't this to save money? Although we are not short of money. Ziyu walked in front, and Immortal Douluo followed behind. Fei really didn't know why undying Douluo was afraid of his own consumption or something. Everyone walked into the Cupid hotel, and a special surrounding fragrance slowly came out. This special feeling made people feel numb. There were not many people inside, and there were stylish counters separated from each other. Every part of the open wine table can arouse the imagination of others. Excuse me, open 8 rooms. Ziyu walked slowly to the counter, and said to the counter waiter, Beijian? The waiter was obviously a little surprised, seeing that there were men and women in the group, but they were also young, so forget it, and don't recommend anything to others. I'm sorry sir, we only have the last 5 rooms. Do you think? The waiter checked the room book, and indeed there are only the last 5 rooms, but our Cupid hotel has king-size beds. One room can accommodate 2 people or even more. 8 people, 5 rooms? Ziyu turned her head and glanced at Immortal Douluo with a questioning look, only to see that undead Douluo just looked left and right as if nothing happened, and even in his blood-colored eyes, he could see the kind of eyes that looked at everything. There are golden soul coins everywhere. At this time, Ji-Fei walked over slowly. 5 rooms will be 5 rooms. The girls will have 1 room, and the remaining 2 rooms will be shared by the undead teacher. Let's squeeze together as 4 of us and make do with it. That's all we can do. Gone. Ziyu nodded. They don't have any problems, and they can have a good communication if they live in a room together. No, Xiao Fei, are you sure you don't want to live with 7th sister? And Giant Crossing, can you also live with 5th sister? You see, it would be nice for Yan and I to share a room. Ziyu looking at Zhu Jiangxing and Ji-Fei with playful eyes. Huo Rao was taken aback. Her face was blushing, but she didn't say anything, so it's a default, right? I have no problem. Yi Lanshan stepped forward and took Ji-Fei's hand. Then I will share a room with Ji-Fei. This, Sister Lanshan. I'm envious. Ziyu was stunned when she took out the soul coin. Hulina looked at Yi Lanshan in disbelief. Yan looked like she had no love in her life. Why did he live with Ziyu? This is too bullying, right? Ahem. Cough. Since Lanshan has said so, then Ji-Fei should share a room with Lanshan. Immortal Douluo showed a slight smile on his face. This is a good opportunity for the master and the whole master to restore their relationship. I must look for such opportunities in the future. Well, I must do this. Teacher Immortal, are you really Lanshan's master? You can't be a fake, right? What are you thinking? How old are Ji-Fei and Lanshan? Hurry up and pay the money. I'm a little tired from traveling, and I want to find a place to sit and rest. Teacher Undead urged. Huo Rao, Giant Crossing, what about you two? No, that, too. Ziyu looked at Huo Rao with a consulting look. No, you don't really think that Huo Rao will nod, do you? Let Huo Rao live alone. Zhu Jiangxing said suddenly. Ziyu didn't ask any more questions, and then turned to the counter. Then let's open these 5 rooms. Pay some deposit first, 10 gold soul coins, then refund the extra, and make up for the less, and then send some food to each room. Okay sir. The waiter lowered his head and was going through some formalities. Just as he picked up the key from the side, he suddenly saw a group of people outside the door. Prepare 10 rooms for me. I want each of my women to live in 1 room, so that it will be more convenient for me at night. Ji-Fei and the others turned their heads and saw a group of 10 people coming from outside the door. The team of this size walked in directly, and the person at the head was still walking at a pace of 2, as if he was supercilious. What attracted the most attention was the 8 women on both sides of him. Each of them was very enchanting. Some were looking around, and some were taking out fruits from the plate and handing them to the man in the middle. And beside this team stood a white-haired old man. The old man's eyes were completely unmoved, and the breath of his whole body seemed to be natural. Ji-Fei stared at the man in the middle and the old man on the side. It was not difficult to see that the old man was protecting the man, and the man who surrounded him was indeed a good hand. The man is quite tall and has a special feminine aura. He hiccups while chewing the fruit handed by the person next to him, and that rich and noble attitude is self-evident. I'm sorry, sir. The last 5 rooms have been booked by these people just now. Now our hotel has no vacancies. Please move to another hotel, sir. We are sorry for this. The waiter looked over. The man shook his head. No one has dared to refute me, Zhu Hangliu, for a long time. You, a little waiter, are the first. What are 8 of them? Let's see if this room should be given to me, and you have to drive 5 people out of me, so I need at least 10 rooms. Every one of my beauties wants to live here. They children can't just find a place to live, alright. Zhu Hangliu stared at Ji-Fei and his party, but he didn't care at all. Instead, the old man who closed his eyes slowly opened his eyes and set his sights on Teacher Undead. Undead Douluo whispered something to Ji-Fei. Ji-Fei was taken aback. Isn't that bad? Why don't you be punished? Immortal Douluo stunned Ji-Fei with a single sentence. Okay, your titled Douluo is at your command. Anyway, you will stand up for the sky falling. The old man really hopes that they can come when they are older, so that the old man can earn more. Immortal Douluo then looked at the old man beside Zhu Hangliu. Is it a soul emperor? Brother, Teacher Immortal asked us to do this. Ji-Fei walked to Ziyu's side and told about the plan Undead Douluo just told him. After hearing this, Ziyu was also a little puzzled. If this Zhu Hengliu is really Xingluo Zhu's family, then he will definitely be able to get a lot of gold soul coins if he robs. I think it can be done. Okay then, will you go, or should I go? Fei glanced at Ziyu helplessly. Go ahead, good things are naturally reserved for the sixth brother. Ziyu smiled. Isn't this young master Zhu? Why are you in the mood to come here today? End of this chapter. Chapter 90. Young Master Zhu. Young Master Zhu. Oops, I didn't know it was you who came to visit me. I feel welcome from afar. Welcome from afar. In the inner room, the waiter came out with a well-dressed middle-aged man. The middle-aged man stared at the person coming from the door and walked over in an instant. Young Master Zhu. Pucci, you're probably a pig, right? Hulina looked at Zhu Hengliu and covered her mouth and smiled. Looking for death. What I hate the most in my life is other people scolding me. Originally, I simply asked you to kowtow and admit your mistakes and get out, but now you all don't leave. Then Zhu Hengliu pointed to Fei. You come here, kneel down and admit your mistake. Fei was taken aback for a moment and suddenly felt a little funny, staying in a hotel and meeting such a good guy, so good. I originally wanted to cheat you for some money according to Teacher Undead, and now Fei, want a better way. Lanshan, wait for a while. Patting Yi Lanshan's hand, indicating that she doesn't have to worry about anything. Fei walked over slowly, and at the same time, Izanami's martial spirit was released. Why do you want to do it? Oldly. Then Zhu Hengliu stepped back a few steps, feeling a little flustered in Fei's ever-changing terrifying soul power. Isn't this just a child? How could he feel fear in his dignified son of the Zhu family who possesses a high-level martial spirit? Stupid pig, who do you think I am? With the slight operation of the soul power, a lavender halo appeared on Fei's body, and then covered Fei's body with a round of hidden martial soul light. My lord father? Why are you here? Have you been following me? Father loves me. I'm not what you think. It's my eyes that don't know Mount Tay. Thump. That Zhu Hengliu stared at Fei and fell to his knees on the ground. His forehead was covered with a thick layer of sweat in an instant. His body was trembling, and everyone present, except him, was stunned. Young Master Zhu. The manager who came out looked at Fei, feeling extremely confused. How could this 6 or 7-year-old boy become the father of the young Zhu Xiao? Heng Liu, what are you doing? How is this the head of the family? You are embarrassing the Zhu family. Stand up quickly. The old man called Li Leo frowned tightly. He looked at Zhu Hengliu who was kneeling on the ground, and then at Fei who was standing in front of them, looking a little abrupt. Oldly, although you are a strong soul emperor, you can't disrespect father. Zhu Hengliu knelt and crawled to Fei's feet. Father, I prepared these women for Oldly. I didn't do it. I just came here to prepare a room for Mr. Li. Puff. Hulina was also a little confused. Lanshan, when did your Fei become the father of this guy? I believe my eyes are absolutely right. Right? Yi Lanshan naturally knew the magical effect of Fei Izanami's martial soul, and then explained to Hulina in a low voice. Third sister, it looks like this. Ahem, my son is doing well. This old man is really old and strong, and he is doing well. However, my father feels very disgusted when he sees you. My stupid son. Fei raised his hand, and then he slammed it on Zhu Hengliu's face without mercy. Call out all the gold soul coins on your body, and search them out of you. Immortal Douluo walked up suddenly. Of course, this is what your father meant. Fei was dumb. The undead Douluo's reputation for being greedy for money was deeply rooted in his bones. No matter when, as long as there was a high probability of golden soul coins appearing, he would definitely come over. According to Undying Douluo's previous plan, Fei was going to lie on the ground and say that Zhu Hengliu's group beat him, and then Undying Douluo made a strong move to demand compensation. Fei suddenly had the illusion. Teacher Immortal, is your title Douluo's power just used to ask for the golden soul coin? Is that all? But apparently Fei is now implementing a better method. Yes, my lord father. Thank you for your praise, my lord father. My son will do better in the future. Zhu Hengliu looked like he was escaping from death and he turned around quickly. Oldly, didn't you hear what your father and friend said just now? Hurry up, and you, take out all the soul coins on your body. What else are there? Come on, managers AO, prepare some gold soul coins for me, and return them later. First prepare some gold soul coins for this uncle. Young Master ZHU. There is no precedent for this. Managers AO was at a loss at first. What's going on? ZHU Hengliu and young Master ZHU must have something wrong with his head, right? What? Are you going to disobey my words? Do you still want to open this Cupid Hotel in Gia City? Do you need my father to speak before I personally lead our ZHU family's Soul Master to level your Cupid Hotel? Question mark? Or did you not take our ZHU family seriously? Or did you not take the Xingluo royal family seriously? ZHU Hengliu stood up, walked directly to the side of Managers AO, and questioned him again and again. But you, Managers AO, could only back away again and again, with a panicked look on your face. No, how is it possible? Young Master ZHU will do whatever he says. It is our Cupid Hotel's tribute to young Master ZHU. Managers AO hurriedly begged for mercy. Fart. It's a friend who respects my father. And you all take it out quickly. Take out all the gold soul coins on your body. ZHU Hengliu suddenly turned around and stared at the group of women and Li Leo. Zuzi, you must have used some weird technique to paralyze Hengliu's mind before he made such wild remarks. You are looking for death. The old man stood in front of Ji-Fei in the blink of an eye, his withered yellow staring at Ji-Fei with both eyes. Hurry up and release it, or all 8 of you will die. Oldly, you dare to say such vulgar words to my father. Don't think that I will ask my father to forgive you if you help me often. ZHU Hengliu pointed at Li Leo and shouted angrily. Oh, are you teaching this old man how to do things? I remember that no one dared to mention death in front of this old man for hundreds of years. Is it because the era of Douluo Continent has changed, or my reputation is gone? Immortal Douluo's scholar eyes seemed to emit a sharp light, and the old man instantly felt an incomparable oppressive force coming from all parts of his body accompanied by extreme cold and terrifying power. Boom. In an instant, the old man turned into a cloud of blood mist in front of everyone. Ji-Fei could see it clearly. The old man seemed to be squeezed out of his body by a powerful force. His nose twitched lightly, and a bloody smell came continuously. Ji-Fei was stunned. A Soul Emperor was titled Douluo. It's really as fragile as paper in front of you. Good kill. Those who disrespect father should be killed. ZHU Hengliu walked over, holding a long strip-shaped thing in his hand. Father, this is a golden soul coin. Please accept it. How could Ji-Fei dare to stretch out his hand? The undead Douluo at the side seemed to have an absolutely terrifying and oppressive aura surging all over his body, as if he would fight desperately with anyone who dared to touch his golden soul coin. Ji-Fei really wanted to ask undead Douluo, what do you want so many gold soul coins for? Are you saving them for a wife? End of this chapter. Chapter 91 The Missing Palace Master. Hahaha, the 6th younger brother is really powerful, and ZHU Hengliu is really as stupid as a pig, and he walked out in the end. He really lost his wife, and lost his army. Ziyu was lying on the soft sofa, recalling what happened just now. She couldn't hold back her smile. It was really amazing. She originally wanted to get the golden soul coin from ZHU Hengliu in another form, but Ji-Fei it is very satisfying to use this more direct method. It's just the characteristics of the martial soul. My martial soul can display a kind of illusion domain. A soul master who sees me in this domain will regard me as the existence he likes or fears the most. My current soul power has no effect on that soul emperor. Ji-Fei also became more and more familiar with the wonderful use of Izana's martial soul. In the end, they didn't choose to kill ZHU Hengliu. Instead, Ji-Fei used the first soul skill, Soul Eater, to plunder ZHU Hengliu directly. After that, ZHU Hengliu walked out foolishly, and he will be regarded as an idiot soul master in the future. Gently holding Yi Lanshan's jade hand, Ji-Fei then looked at undead Douluo who was counting the gold soul coins. Mr. Undead, don't check the total of more than 5,000 gold soul coins. Of course, if the manager nothing to deceive ZHU Hengliu. Immortal Douluo was very satisfied and put away the golden soul coins together. Diane, Ji-Fei boy did a good job. He has the demeanor of the old man, and he will develop it more in the future. The old man likes your personality the most. Langshan, you have to learn more. When you are with Fei in the future, at least you have to increase some income for this old man. Yi Lanshan was stunned, but in the end she didn't say anything. Mr. Immortal, can you now tell us what our mission in Jewel City is? Fei looked at Undying Douluo. He didn't believe that Undying Douluo would give them such a simple task of visiting mountains and rivers. Fei had such a strong feeling that, even though the 7 of them were not very powerful, this one mission is definitely not easy, and it is not even an exaggeration to say that it is dangerous. It's a strong hunch. A task? If you don't remind the old man, you will forget it. Immortal Douluo looked around at Fei and his group. As for the task, the old man is mainly responsible for it. You just need to take care of some of the little ones, and this time the task has some necessary connections with Fei. The most important thing is that according to what I have learned, as long as you can successfully complete the task, I guarantee that your soul power will be greatly improved. Undead Douluo pointed at Zhu Jiangxing and Huo Ro, especially you 2 little ones. The old man said that you can directly break through to level. Do you believe it? Zhu Jiangxing was stunned, and Huo Ro also had a look of disbelief, but the person in front of him was a titled Douluo figure standing at the pinnacle of a soul master, and he was definitely an authoritative existence in terms of soul master cultivation. It must be possible in their eyes, at least perhaps. As for you, there is no problem with Ziyu's 20th level. Hulina's 20th level is also fine, and Yan naturally has no problem. Also, Fei and Lanshan, the soul power of the 2 of them has already reached more than 20 levels, but with the benefit of that thing this time, it is almost no problem to raise it to level 26 or 7. Immortal Douluo seems to have thought of something. It seems that after this task is completed, I will lead you to hunt soul beasts. TSK. The overall strength has reached the effect I expected, and I'm worthy of the old man's professor. Students. Hearing this, everyone's eyes were a little excited, since Undead Douluo talked so eloquently, then this matter is definitely inseparable. Teacher, tell me what the task is, and then how can we all raise our soul power level? Ziyu seemed the most excited. His soul power is now at the level of the 18th level. Obviously, it is very uncomfortable to be in this stage. After all, he can't go up or down, and he still has some bottleneck. The reason has led to this, so he wants to solve it as soon as possible. Let's talk about the mission first. You should know that Jia City is a 2nd level branch of the Wuhan Temple, right? Immortal Douluo looked at Fei and the others. I did some research before we set off. Originally, you only told us to come to Jia City and asked us to prepare more thick clothes. Then we naturally went to understand the general situation of Jia City. Fei nodded. In such a big city, I'm afraid that only such a 2nd level branch hall can suppress it, and it is also the way to maximize the majesty of the spirit hall. The task this time is related to the 2nd level branch hall of the Wuhan Temple. Immortal Douluo thought for a while. The master of the 2nd level branch hall of the Wuhan Temple disappeared unexpectedly, and recently there are many all the soul master girls are missing. Could it be that the master of the 2nd level branch of the Wuhan Temple in Jia City is a young girl? Ziyu was a little surprised. Judging from the division of the strength of the Wuhan Hall, the master of the 2nd level branch hall should be a strong man above the Soul Emperor. According to the words of Undead Douluo, it seems that this can be guessed. The hall master of the 2nd level branch hall of Wuhan Hall also disappeared. Hey, what a girl. I thought you guys did something to understand that she is an old man in his 80s, and, of course, who knows if he is a real person. Anyway, what you need to remember is him and these people. The disappearance of the Soul Master girl seems to have a slight connection. Could it be that just because he disappeared, you can conclude that you have contact with him? Hulina said with some doubts. Of course it won't be so arbitrary. The master of this 2nd level branch hall is named Taizan. He once recruited 50 female soul masters in their 20s in the name of recruiting students from the Wuhandian Academy. The soul powers are almost all around the 30th level. He personally led this group of female soul masters to the so-called Wuhandian Academy to take the entrance exam. However, Taezian was the only one in the end, and according to what he said at the time, all these female soul masters were admitted to the Wuhandian Academy, and then he led a group of male soul masters not more than half a month ago. The name is also to participate in the entrance examination of Wuhandian Academy. Of course this time he did not come back directly. So, the task this time is to capture and return to Taezian Huo, who wants to see people die and see corpses. Similarly, there is also the whereabouts of that group of soul masters. By the way, this is released by the Wuhandian Academy. Old man, if I remember correctly, it seems to be a 4-star difficulty. End of this chapter. Chapter 92. 4-star difficulty? Although I guessed that this task would not be easy before coming here, I never thought it would be so difficult. Master Undead, do you really feel that we can complete the 4-star difficulty task with just a few of us? Not to mention our soul masters with only 10 or 20 levels of soul power. Even a group of soul emperors and soul saints may not be able to complete it perfectly, right? Ziyu did it abruptly, her eyes gleaming with inconceivable surprise shine. What is 4-star difficulty? Fei didn't have a detailed understanding of the classification of Wuhandian Academy's tasks, but it was not difficult to guess from Ziyu's tone that this should be a difficult matter, or even an impossible matter. Ziyu glanced at Fei and then sighed rather old-fashionedly. 6th brother, I don't know. The tasks completed by the Soul Master team sent by our Wuhandian Academy are divided into 1 to 5 stars according to the difficulty, and we can only judge from the 4-star tasks. You can roughly guess the difficulty of this task, right? 1-star missions tend to be sim missions, to complete the bottleneck period of cultivation, or to find some special materials that need to be used. Of course, there are only a few such missions, and the missions of 2 and 3 stars require soul masters to really kill, yes, because what you encounter will be a special kind of vicious soul master. We prefer to call them evil soul masters. These evil soul masters are all soul masters who are not satisfied with their own strength and situation, can reflect the meaning of life of one's own soul master, and such evil soul masters generally have a special method to quickly improve their cultivation level. When I say this, think about what kind of evil soul masters with 4-star difficulty will appear. How will they be so vicious? Ziyu's words caused a huge shock in everyone's heart, and they all deeply felt how difficult this task was. No, it was simply an impossible task for them. This is not a small fight between soul masters, this is a battle that really involves life and death. Mr. Immortal, I have a doubt. Since this is a 4-star mission, you should also know the whereabouts of Taezian or his true identity, right? Could it be that we need a blanket search? Although I don't know Jewel City, but it's definitely looking for a needle in a haystack. Fei seemed much calmer, perhaps because Yi Lanshan was by his side. Fei could always feel that he could not feel the threat of terror. Well, you are right. The old man does know the origin of Taezian, and even where he is. It is precisely because of this that the old man led you here. Although this may make you encounter the gap between life and death, but it is also your chance. Immortal Douluo hesitated for a moment. I don't want to hide anything from you. This old man, the soul master behind this time, is a titled Douluo, a real titled Douluo. How should I put it? The old man is also an acquaintance with him. Then the old guy is a really difficult existence. Even if it wasn't for some special reasons, the old man wouldn't come here, let alone bring you here. Yi Lanshan seemed to have thought of something, and suddenly said, Teacher, are you talking about that level 98 Super Douluo evil god Douluo that you often talk about? What? Level 98? Our enemy may be a level 98 Super Douluo? This? God. Yan suddenly stood up and told the truth. That he was really flustered. How could it be? Not the entire Douluo continent. Wouldn't the title Douluo above be more than 10 digits? Why do I suddenly feel that there are so many more title Douluo I have seen recently? And how could title Douluo become an evil soul master? This is obviously impossible. There is almost no upper limit to what title Douluo can touch, and he is still a 98 level Super Douluo. How is this possible? That's right, it's him. Although the old man's level is the same as him, he won't gain any advantage if he meets him, but I have no choice but to fight for your chances. But, Undead Douluo is very excited. He looked at Ji Lanshan and Ji Fei meaningfully, but you don't have to worry about it. It's possible that we can complete the mission without bloodshed, and at the same time gain opportunities. No. Ji Lanshan suddenly retorted, staring at undead Douluo with her sharp eyes, and even said in an orderly tone, "Teacher, do you want that?" No. Once you use it, many people will notice it. If it arrives, it will leave an alarm God's punishment, so it cannot be used. Everyone looked at Ji Lanshan in shock. Was that the originally gentle Ji Lanshan just now? Why does it seem that the pressure released from the invisible is stronger than that undead Douluo? Lanshan, you can rest assured. Although the old evil god has a weird temper, he must abide by some special things. And don't worry, I'm also a dignified level 98 Douluo after hundreds of years. The immortal Douluo, who was once famous throughout the continent, will definitely protect your safety. You just need to hide next to Ji Fei and Lanshan, and you will be absolutely safe. Ziyu was a little confused. What did it mean to be absolutely safe? By hiding beside Ji Fei and Ji Lanshan, could it be that the two of them have titled Douluo immune constitution? I really didn't expect Teacher Undead to be a level 98 super Douluo. Hulina said in surprise. I'm getting more and more confused about why Teacher Undead came to Wuhandian Academy to become our teacher. Both Zhu Jiangxing and Huora obviously didn't react from the shock. The potential enemy of his first mission was a level 98 super Douluo. Moreover, his teacher is also a level 98 super Douluo. This young man who seems to be 10 years older than them, and such a greedy person is actually such a level existence. No wonder the Soul Emperor only needs one look to turn into a blood mist. No wonder he dared to kill the mentor of Wuhandian Academy without fear. It's still a lot worse than the one in your Wuhan temple. Although the old man doesn't want to admit it, the old man has been asleep for a long time. He just wants to come out and move his body and then teach a few students who are hundreds of years later. At the same time, and watch out for my precious apprentice not to be abducted by someone, and I'm still waiting to hold my apprentice's child. Undying Douluo seemed to be enjoying something, and his brows and eyes subconsciously frowned. Then teacher, where is the destination of our mission this time? Or where is the lair named Evil God Douluo? What does it have to do with Taizan? Gil City, Jill Mountain. End of this chapter. Chapter 93 Over the Mountain. The next day. Mr. Immortal, shall we just go like this? Don't we prepare something? The howling cold wind slapped their faces fiercely. Ji Fei and his party followed undead Douluo along a lying ridge. There were no trees in the forest to cover them. There are not many green trees. Ji Fei's team is also different from the previous ones. Originally Ji Fei and Ji Lanshan were standing behind, so it's not a problem to talk like this or hold hands, but now the two of them are in undead Douluo. Under the arrangement, he stood directly in the first and second positions. Hearing Ji Fei's words, Immortal Douluo shook his head and then said slowly, "What are you preparing for? Even if you prepare for a level 98 title Douluo, it will be in vain. It's not that simple." Ji Fei was obviously a little puzzled. He still hadn't figured out why undead Douluo let them come here. Was it just for some chance? Moreover, why would Wuhandian Academy let undead Douluo receive such a 4-star difficulty task? Although Ji Fei didn't want to deeply understand what Undying Douluo's purpose was, but there was no other way. Worried about the danger, Ji Lanshan poked Ji Fei. She could see and feel that Ji Fei was flustered. Ji Fei turned around to look at Ji Lanshan and smiled reluctantly. "It's nothing. I'm just thinking about something. After all, Teacher Immortal is leading us, so we don't need to be afraid of anything. Mr. Undead, since you know that evil god Douluo, why not take this opportunity to tell us how this evil god Douluo is called an evil soul master? And what is his temperament like? Or what is his martial soul ability?" Ji Fei said slowly, "These are very important, although it is impossible for them to win when encountering such a level of soul masters, but they can also avoid some things properly, otherwise they will die in the end, if they are stupid." Evil god Douluo? Immortal Douluo thought for a while. His martial spirit is very special. It is a sickle, of course. This sickle is naturally not the sickle of the standard waste martial spirit. Sickle, but this old man prefers to call it the evil god's sickle. As for the effect of his martial soul, in addition to the basic strong attack power, he also has the same immortal ability as this old man. What do you understand by immortality? Immortal Douluo looked back at Jifei and the others with great interest. It's very ethereal, but teacher, are you really immortal? Or is it immortal in a certain sense, but the limit of immortality is very large? Otherwise, wouldn't you be invincible? Anyone can imagine that a titled Douluo with a level of 98 and an invincible existence, no one wants to fight against him, is completely invincible and invincible at the peak. Immortal? Ha 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 ha, almost. The old man's martial spirit is very special, and it is precisely because of the martial spirit that I can have the special ability of immortality. Speaking of it, it is somewhat similar to your first martial spirit, Jifei boy. Immortal Douluo stared at Jifei meaningfully. Obviously he probably knew that Jifei's chaos martial soul ability could be obtained by contacting other people's soul power or a part of his body. But you have to pay attention to this old guy, evil god Douluo. Anyway, he is very kind in your words, but his kindness means that he will never attack you until you have no ill intentions towards him. So because of this reason, the old man dared to say that the group of people who disappeared should not all die, but if they blindly listen to the words of the evil god Douluo, I'm afraid they will be no different from half dead. Jifei, this evil god is very good at deceiving people, but with the two of us around, he shouldn't do anything excessive. Yi Lanshan's voice suddenly sounded in Jifei's mind, which was exactly the same as Luo's before, but the same voice made Jifei feel extra cordial. Jifei also tried to respond, bewitching. With the ability of immortality similar to undead Douluo, it is really difficult for this evil god Douluo, but why do you and undead teacher say that as long as there are two of us in the basic will there be no problem? Well, keep it secret for now. Yi Lanshan simply gave such an answer. As for the evil god Douluo, the old man just wants to say, don't listen to his bewitching, and also don't refute his words. Our main purpose is to bring back Zion and the group of soul masters. While gaining that chance, the spirit hall in Jia City will be fine. The rest of the matter is out of our control. In fact, the main thing I want is for you to get this opportunity. What does it have to do with me and you, whether they die or not? Teacher, why do you feel that your evil spirit is also a bit strong? Ziyu said abruptly from behind. The old man said that the old man was also the evil soul master you think. Do you believe it? And it is the kind of vicious evil soul master. Are you afraid? Undying Douluo turned around and looked at Jifei and the others, suddenly with evil intentions. With a smile, but after a night of sleep, things changed. It seems that I discovered a new way to make money. No, teacher, did you kill soul masters for money? Hulina looked at undead Douluo in disbelief. Does an existence like titled Douluo still have such a strong pursuit of wealth? And shouldn't all titled Douluo not be short of money? Undead Douluo just smiled and didn't say anything, but the unnatural answer was all on top of the smile on his face. How long will we be able to find the evil god Douluo's lair when Mount Jia is so big? But I'm afraid the place that can accommodate so many people will be very large, at least in a huge cave that is relatively hidden. Jifei looked at the mountains in the distance. Although there was no greenery to protect them, the mountains were still blocking the stones. If you think this way, it can be said that you are completely wrong. The old thing of the evil god likes to be high profile. How could he hide in the cave? Have you seen the mountain in front? After turning over, I saw the place where that old evil god Douluo lived, but it took some means to find out. Do you live in a ravine? It's also a good hiding place. Zhu Jiangxing looked at the surrounding terrain from behind. The col is indeed a very good place. If it is a place sheltered by greenery, not many soul masters will set foot here, and there may be a lot of spirit beasts here, but even spirit beasts generally won't come out to look for food in this winter, and basically hide in caves or earth caves to rest. End of this chapter. Chapter 94. Douluo hides in the mountains. Okay, you guys should be more vigilant. I'm afraid we will encounter some unnecessary bugs before we can see that old guy of the evil god Douluo. After you break Ziyu, Jifei will follow me. Prepare to release your martial soul for rescue. The others are very strange. To be honest, they have been with Yi Lanshan for quite a long time, but none of them have seen Yi Lanshan use or release the martial spirit. Their understanding of Yi Lanshan may only be at the Jifei has a man in his eyes and a moon in his heart. A super genius with a soul power of level 25. the undead disciple of the 98 level super thing. My martial soul is the divine tree of life, and its function is to assist in healing and restore soul power. Yi Lanshan turned around and said to Hulina and the others behind her, Ziyu is at the end of the service, and his soul power has already begun to function. He seems to be able to feel a horrific crisis enveloping them. Such a horrific aura seems to be slowly released from the distant mountain, which is very strange and very clear. Auxiliary martial soul? What a wonderful martial soul. Hulina murmured. I would really like to experience the wonderful use of Sister Lanshan's martial soul. Yi Lanshan was slightly stunned. Let's forget it. Getting injured is not a good sign. But don't worry, my martial spirit is very powerful in healing and recovery, as I said. I agree with that. No, I agree with it with both hands. Fei knew that when Douluo was around before, the speed of healing injuries could be the same as before, but in the blink of an eye, even fractures could be healed to the same extent as before. Now, it seems that this wonderful ability can be released even more wonderfully on Yi Lanshan at this time. Oh strength. TCH, your wife watching maniac is here again. Hulina waved her hands. I know your family is in dire straits. The immortal Douluo in front of him suddenly stopped. He looked at the broken cliff in the distance, and the howling wind from the gap kept coming. At the same time, the strong oppressive force seemed to be constantly gathering. This kind of power is very wonderful, as if it can make them feel warm to some extent, but if they move a little, it seems that another breath full of tyranny hits from the gap in the cliff. This is a seemingly natural valley, but upon careful observation, it seems that there are traces of artificial modification. Although it is extremely clever to combine with the surrounding mountain walls, there are still some differences when you look carefully. The mountains in winter are very helpful for them to move forward. There are no such vertical branches or bushes, but they will also bring them some unpredictable dangers. For example, there is no place to hide. If they encounter the evil god Douluo, they will be able to see to title Douluo with a cultivation level as high as 98 immediately start a battle. This is not a good sign. Crossing this cliff should be almost here, at least in my memory. It's like this. I haven't come here for hundreds of years, and I don't know what it has changed. The undead Douluo in front murmured a few words, then move on. When Fei and his group walked to the bottom of the cliff that they had just seen, the huge boulder hanging in the air was standing on top of their heads so ingeniously, and the speed of their feet subconsciously increased. Originally, Zhu Jiangxing was still looking up, but the strong dazzling feeling that followed made him feel that it is better not to look too much. And this cliff seems to be connected to a very open stone road, which keeps moving forward, but can't see the edge. As they kept moving forward, they didn't seem to feel anything wrong. Fei and the others continued to move forward while being cautious. After all, if there was any disturbance, immortal Douluo would definitely be the first to notice it. In such a situation of highly concentrated mental power, not only does the whole person's physical strength feel drained very quickly, but even the time passes so fast that it is unbelievable. Originally, Fei and others set off when the sun was first born, but now it was almost sunset and they were still walking in the valley. Fei couldn't believe that the valley behind the cliff was so long. Stop, the night is getting dark. If you continue to move forward, you may encounter some unexpected things. Take a rest and eat something. We will move forward after we get used to the night environment. Undead Douluo stopped in place, looking at the hundreds of feet of cliffs above with his bloody eyes. He was a little surprised for a while, and thought to himself, this old thing, the evil god, is really a gopher, and he actually opened up such a long passage. Fei and the others were leaning on a huge rock. Although it was deep in the valley, the exposed boulders around them were quite clean. The wind at night was not so cold, perhaps because it was downhill, or because there must be no cold wind this night, but Fei and the others still chose to sit together. After all, it was good to have someone to take care of, and undead Douluo stood there alone, as if thinking about something. I don't know how we will end this mission. Ziyu stared at the sky. It's strange to say, if Nana, Yan and I heard about such a mission on weekdays, I'm afraid it would have been a long time ago. Run away. After all, meeting titled Douluo with our 17th and 8th level spirit power is absolutely dead. But somehow, I always feel that when the 7 of us are together, we feel very at ease. Ji-Fei picked up a stone casually and held it in the palm of his hand. Maybe this is the sense of belonging. After all, we are a team, and there is a strong person like Teacher Immortal leading the team. We have nothing to worry about. Is it a blessing? Misfortune, disaster cannot be avoided, and Teacher Immortal also said, although this time is difficult, it is also an opportunity. Yan looked at the immortal Douluo who stood there stunned. Mr. Undead's character is different from the title Douluo I know. The other title Douluo are either high-ranking, or they are arrogant. With an unattainable appearance, Teacher Undead gave me the feeling that, if you give me money, we are brothers. Boy Yan, are you saying that this old man is greedy for money? It's over. Yan shook his head hastily. I don't mean that, Teacher Immortal. I just praise you for being noble and having things that other title Douluo can't match. Ha ha ha. Others also laughed when they saw Yan's appearance like this. That's what you looked like before. Undying Douluo turned and walked over. Ji-Fei could tell that the depths of his blood eyes were full of memories. End of this chapter. Chapter 95. Mr. Immortal, what did you look like in the past? And I often hear you say 100 years ago, so are you hundreds of years old? Obviously, although they have been with Undead Douluo for a long time, the origin of Undead Douluo and some special things are unknown to them, but they also know that this is asking some undead teachers who I don't want to talk about the things again. Even if the immortal teacher doesn't talk about it, it's not a big deal. At least I have to satisfy my heart. Are you very interested in the old man's past? Undead Douluo walked over slowly, then sat down on the ground like Ji-Fei and others, and said in a slow voice with a little reminiscence, actually, there is nothing wrong with it. In particular, it just killed a lot of soul masters and left a bad name. What power in the current mainland can be called the most powerful in your memory? Do you still need to think about this? Of course it's Wuhandian. Huorao said with certainty, although it is said that the upper three sects are very powerful sects, they are still far behind when compared with Wuhandian. Jiangxing and Dai, they all come from the lower four sects, although I really don't want to admit it, but I can only say that, even if all of our lower four sects unite, I'm afraid we can't beat the Wuhan Palace. I heard that the Wuhan Palace has no less than 5 title Douluo level powerhouses. Ziyu, Hulina, and Yan obviously don't want to talk about such a topic. It can be seen from their puzzled eyes that they don't want to talk to others about matters related to Wuhandian. Your Ji-Fei kid. Who do you think is the most powerful force in the current continent? Or maybe you have your own opinion. Undead Douluo seemed to feel that Ji-Fei could give him a brand new one. Or a different and special answer. Maybe Ji-Fei's ambition is more important to him. Did I say? Ji-Fei was obviously very surprised. He had lived in the Holy Soul Village for the past 6 years. Although he had read part of the original novel, as he got deeper and deeper, Ji-Fei seemed to feel that the world of Douluo Continent he was in now was different from that of the original novel. The world of the original work seems to be slightly different in terms of microscopic performance. Undoubtedly, Wuhandian is the most powerful force known, right? At least in their eyes. Huorao's words are definitely a very correct answer. There is no strongest, only stronger. Ji-Fei stared at the undead Douluo. He would not say that the Wuhan Horde is the strongest, because he could know from the bloody eyes of the undying Douluo that the undying Douluo didn't want it. I continued to discuss how powerful and invincible Wuhandian is. Oh, how do you say this? Obviously not only undead Douluo, but also Ziyu and Hulimayan, who were silent at the side, stared at Ji-Fei in amazement, but what they were most looking forward to was how Ji-Fei would explain this sentence. Strong only stronger explanation? Obviously, this is important. It's very simple. Ji-Fei suddenly thought of something, and then said slowly, take the 2 statues we saw when we just entered school. I remember Brother Ziyu explained it to me in this way. Then the huge angel statue symbolizes the inherited martial spirit of the Wuhan temple. If I remember correctly, Ziyu told me that the huge purple sculpture next to the angel statue also symbolizes a very terrifying force, and Ziyu also said that the power is stronger than the Wuhan temple. Of course, whether this is true or not, I will not go into it, but it is undeniable that the statue of a representative of other powers is now being able to stand still in Wuhandian Academy must have some special meaning, right? Ziyu was slightly stunned. He didn't expect Ji-Fei to be involved here. Indeed, he also asked about such a topic before. At that time, that person told the three of them in this way, that existence is more important than Wuhandian, a powerful force, but later it was wiped out for unknown reasons, thus making the current Wuhan temple. Well, there is no strongest but stronger one. Yes, your answer is very correct. Indeed, even if the old man was in the key before, that kind of power will not be able to defeat the distraction of the heart and the punishment of the gods. Immortal Douluo stood up slowly. Let's go. The old man has discovered the lair of the evil god Douluo. Hurry up to complete the task to get the opportunity, and then return to Wuhandian Academy, to rest and start the next step of training. Found it? Where? Everyone else was surprised. When was this discovered? Isn't Immortal Douluo staying here with them for a while? When did he pick up the plane and find the place where the evil god Douluo was? But this relationship is good. If you find it this time, won't you be able to complete the task soon? Moreover, they could also learn about the so-called opportunity that undead Douluo often told them could improve their cultivation to level or above. Although they are also very worried. After all, facing a 98 level title Douluo who has never seen one, and has a very weird temper, and is one of the few evil soul masters on this continent, then this evil god Douluo, how evil will the evil be? Do you know why I'm sure, old man, that we are almost at the lair of that old evil god Douluo? While walking, undead Douluo stared at the strangeness of the surrounding mountain walls. Ji-Fei also observed the surrounding mountain walls very keenly. Yi Lanshan beside him seemed to be thinking about something, as if he was very attentive. Ji-Fei didn't choose to bother Yi Lanshan, but just told her to pay attention to the rocks under her feet, and be careful not to trip over. But stumbling is obviously not that simple. After all, Ji-Fei is holding Yi Lanshan's hand. How could Ji-Fei make Yi Lanshan trip when he explores the way? Mr. Immortal, the surrounding mountain walls seem very strange. Ji-Fei feels that this should be the specific reason why undead Douluo said that he is so sure. The surrounding mountain walls are different from the ones he passed by before. Ji-Fei has been paying attention to the surrounding mountain walls on the way. At the same time, the eyes are also measuring the distance between the cliffs on both sides and the mountain walls. Undoubtedly, the distance between the mountain walls is shortening as they go deeper into the mountain walls, and the mountain walls begin to glow with little fluorescent lights, although they are faint as fireflies. But it is undeniable that in such a silent night, only a gleam of light is needed to see clearly, and it feels like being watched by something. Perhaps this is what Ji-Fei feels strange about, and at the same time, this is also the strangest point. Based on this, it can be speculated that the words of undead Douluo can be drawn. Of course, it cannot be denied that people at the level of title Douluo have the method is so powerful that none of them can understand it. End of this chapter. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 96. There is a special material called moon reflecting stone all over the surrounding cliffs. It can be said that it is an extremely rare stone unique to the Star Luo Empire. Such stones are generally used as valuable building materials, but except not many soul masters would choose such difficult to find and extremely hard moon reflecting stones as building materials for palaces and the like. But once moon reflecting stones are used as building materials, the houses built will have strange phenomena. It can absorb moonlight to embellish the dazzling appearance of the building and at the same time gather soul power. Presumably you have more or less felt that the soul power around here is becoming more and more intense. Immortal Douluo walked to the side of the cliff, then stretched out his hand and abruptly removed a palm-sized stone glowing with light from the smooth rock wall, and accompanied by the approaching stone, there was indeed an extremely strong. Then the soul power was also released. Ji-Fei and the others felt a little strange. Is there such a material? If you live in a room made of such a moon reflecting stone, will it be more effective if you practice it? Such pure soul power is really amazing. It's rare. I'm afraid there's no such special feeling in the Stardow Great Forest. Sixth brother, have you been to the Stardow Forest? Ziyu looked at Ji-Fei in surprise, and was even more surprised in her heart. It was not that he had never heard of the Stardao Great Forest. It was a real paradise for soul beasts, and almost all the soul beasts in it were at the 10,000-year level. In terms of horror, even the 10,000-year-old soul beasts in the Devil Forest that he knows can't compare with the 10,000-year-old soul beasts in the Stardao Forest. Ji-Fei nodded. I obtained my 2 soul rings in the Stardao Forest. Of course, I was accompanied by someone. Otherwise, I might be killed by those who have not entered the Stardao Forest by myself. The ferocious soul beasts must have been eaten alive, but to be honest, I didn't feel it before, but now I can clearly feel the special and extremely terrifying soul power coming from all directions gather towards the valley. At this time, Yi Lanshan said, it turns out that I have been walking for so long, and I can't even see half a soul beast in Jia Mountain. I thought it was caused by hibernation or the special environment near Jia Mountain. But now I think about it wrong. It should be that the thin soul power of Mount Jia has not allowed a large number of soul beasts to survive. And if I guessed correctly, Mount Jia looks like this all year round. There will be no beautiful environment with green trees. That's right. That's right. What Lan Shan said is right. Immortal Douluo crushed the moon reflecting stone in his hands, and with the flying of the powder, a brilliant white light floated into the mountain wall again. This is the reason for the moon reflecting stone. It is precisely because of the special property of absorbing soul power of the moon reflecting stone that the soul power around Mount Jia is so thin, but only here, that is, the place that almost reaches the entire Mount Jia. The soul power in the valley is so strong, but you can't feel it during the day, and you can only feel it so clearly at night when the moon is bright and the stars are thin. Immortal Douluo pondered for a moment, and if the old man's deduction is not wrong, the moon reflecting stone was placed here by that old guy, evil god Douluo. There are a large number of moon reflecting stones, and the old guy of evil god Douluo just made some modifications according to the characteristics of the moon reflecting stones he knows. Hiss. It's so hard. Yan's exclamation sounded. Everyone's eyes immediately drifted away, only to see Yan stretching out his hands mixed with thick flames to grab a piece of fluorescent stone that protruded out of the way. Yan tried very hard to remove the stone, but obviously, even if he used his own soul power, it would be difficult to do so. Boy Yan, don't think about it. It's impossible for a soul master who doesn't have the strength of a soul king to take down this integrated moon reflecting stone, and the penetrating moon reflecting stone that you see looks like Changgu. It turned out that the old thing evil god Douluo used his soul power to develop it, and those developed moon reflecting stones should be used as building materials by him to build houses. What? So powerful? Such a long passage was opened up by one person, and it can all be transferred? This is too unimaginable. Even if the title Douluo has the ability to move mountains and fill seas, I'm afraid it can be done. It's not as simple as it sounds, is it? Zhu Jiangxing looked back at the quiet valley, then raised his head to look at the valley several feet high. It turned out to be the arm of a person, even though it was a titled Douluo. Cthulhu's old stuff is not as simple as you imagined. There is nothing he can't do. If there is anything, it means he hasn't done it yet. Boom. And when Ji-Fei and the others were still lamenting how powerful this evil god Douluo who had never met before was, a blood-colored ray shot up from the crack of the canyon not far away, rendering the almost ordinary sky. It made the originally deep and dark sky shine brightly in an instant. And Ji-Fei and the others, who were drawn by this special aura that soared into the sky, were all flushed, and the undead Douluo at the front had a smile on his lips, thinking in his heart that the old evil god Douluo things have really been staying in this ghostly place for hundreds of years. It is really rare, but this time it is different. The master and the palace master are here. Old man's mortal enemy. I hope we can join forces again to revive our reputation. After all, it has been too long since our lineage disappeared in Douluo Continent. Now that the divine punishment has passed, we only need to wait for the Lord to return. Why don't you worry about not being able to go against the sky when you get together again? Ji-Fei looked up at the soaring aura and frowned slightly. He seemed to be familiar with this aura, as if he had seen it somewhere before. He couldn't help feeling a little dizzy, and things like cutscenes slowly changed in Ji-Fei's mind. A man with split pupils who resembled the undead Douluo knelt down in front of him, as if he was stating something. The only visible proof might be and undead Douluo wears a similar ring, and it seems that he can find traces of this ring on his 7 emotions ring. But when Fei tried hard to remember again, he found that everything had disappeared. Fei staggered and almost fell to the ground by intuition. Fortunately, Yi Lanshan behind him helped Fei up. Fei, are you okay? Yi Lanshan's beautiful eyes moved slightly and asked Fei with concern. It's okay, it just seemed to think of something just now. End of this chapter, chapter 97. Here it is. Fei and the others stood at a mountain pass. Their horrified expressions could not believe what they saw. In the quiet night, a large bordering plain outside the originally narrow valley suddenly appeared in front of them. Note that this is not very important. The most horrifying thing should be the existence standing on the plain. The buildings stretching for hundreds of miles, from the main building in front to the pavilions in front of you. Although there is no green and pleasant beauty of flowers and trees, but more of the incomparably shocking feeling of mountain stone carvings. Connecting from the opening of the canyon is a fluorescent avenue that runs through it. Undoubtedly, even the road paved on the ground is connected with moonstones one by one. This is no longer the point where ordinary people can think with their own brains. The feeling can be said to occupy the whole body in an instant. And above this huge passageway stands many towering statues. Each statue has its own look. The most dazzling one in the front, the statue of a man with a faint purple halo, caresses the side, emitting a light green light. The dizzying beauty of the woman, the eyes of the two abandoned the restrained ambitions of other statues, and more should be the gentleness and silence between the two. Let's go. This is the kingdom built by that old evil god Douluo, right? He said earlier that this old man used all the gold soul coins accumulated by the old man to make these things. Really? Damn it. Why hasn't he been asleep for hundreds of years? The old man's golden soul coin. Immortal Douluo cursed as he walked, and other people could only know that this undying Douluo and this evil god Douluo definitely knew each other before, and the relationship between them seemed to be good, of course. As for whether the relationship is good or not, at least we have to talk about it after meeting. If the meeting is tense, can it still be said that the relationship between the two of them is very good? It seems that it should not be possible, right? Such a big place is even bigger than the spirit hall. Hulina said slowly, undoubtedly amplifying the horrified expression on her face to the extreme. The guards are too lax, right? At least there must be a few soul masters guarding the house, right? Why haven't I seen any of them? Yan looked around suspiciously, from the entrance to the rooms in front of him. The trace of a soul master. Could it be that the group of people were scared away because he came? That is obviously impossible. It's not that there are no guards, but that there is no need. Undead Douluo, who was walking in front, said lightly, the evil god Douluo has the ability to summon evil things, and those evil things are similar to soul masters, but at the same level. The soul master is much stronger, so as long as the old man thinks he can summon powerful evil things to guard here, of course, with his own soul power and limitations, he can only split into 9 at most. Of course, well, the strength of these 9 evil things can be compared to shoulders. Hahaha, this old thing seems to have some conscience, and he actually built such a stalwart statue for this old man. Undead Douluo's eyes moved to the 7 frontmost ones in the complex statue. If you look at this statue alone, it looks like a majestic man standing on the base of the cliff below. The blood-colored eyes released a frightening aura. He held a blood-colored longsword in one hand and dragged a waving banner in the other. At the same time, there were many statues similar to villains standing behind him. Each of them was like a ghost. It is the existence of each rich demeanor. Mr. Immortal, do you think this is your statue? Ziyu glanced at the statue suspiciously. It was indeed very similar, especially the most special blood-colored eyes. The breath is very similar. Hey, this statue is the evil god Douluo. This old thing is really powerful. I don't know where to hire a sculptor to carve these statues. It not only brings our appearance and even a trace of charm to it. I went in. Immortal Douluo nodded in satisfaction. I have to take it back, and I can definitely buy a lot of money. No, I want to stay in my house. That's right. This is the evil god Douluo? Everyone stared at the statue that undead Douluo was pointing at. A statue of a fat man with a round body stands here. To be honest, the scope of his statue can even accommodate the other two statues, just by looking at it this way. Moreover, the statue of a fat man with a round body is carrying a slender handle on his shoulders. The huge sickle, the black light exudes bloody breath. Why do you think this evil god Douluo looks a bit like a farmer? Hulina looked at it with a strange gaze, and it could be seen that she seemed to want to laugh a little, which was very strange. Who are these statues of Mr. Undead? How could there be you? And there is this purple statue. If I'm not mistaken, it should be exactly the same as the purple statue in our Wuhandian Academy. It's just that this one is smaller, but delicate enough to subdivide every look and unique temperament, as well as the statue of a woman beside him. Ziyu's gaze fell on Yi Lanshan unnaturally, and then she compared them again. They looked alike. Something was wrong. It's just that there is still a big age and stature gap between the two, and the rest seem to have little difference in the restrained atmosphere. These statues are just some of my former companions. I can't say who the first two statues are, but I can give you a rough imagination of the 17 statues in the back. Undead Douluo continued. You guessed it right. This little Feezy still has Lanshan to go. Let's go to the main hall to take a look at that old thing. Evil god Douluo. The old man seems to have sensed the aura emanating from him. Jifen's expression slowly retracted. He glanced at Yi Lanshan with some confusion. Yi Lanshan's gaze was also on the two supporting statues. The two just looked at each other and smiled, then slowly followed the immortal Douluo, who has already quickened his pace, is in front of him. Destroy. Jifei murmured. Does it seem very good? Have I ever had it all? God's punishment? That's how it is. I haven't controlled the power to destroy miracles. Shura, immeasurable. The sea, angels, Rakshasa, the 7 emotions, the 10 commandments. Jifei walked forward slowly, and suddenly he seemed to have figured out something. It turns out that there is such a special understanding in his deep memory. This is really not easy. End of this chapter. Chapter 98. The confronting title Douluo. The huge palace appeared in front of Jifei's eyes, and there were many side halls bordering it all around. But I have to say that there are probably not many such huge buildings in the entire Douluo continent. Just look at it closely go. Standing behind the main hall is a tall wooden building of at least feet. The simple dark red wooden material gives people a majestic and direct impact. I can't wait for people to quickly appreciate how powerful it is. At this moment, Jifei and the other 8 people stood in front of the main hall. There was no movement at the closed palace gate. The extremely quiet scene made people feel that this was a barren temple, but its barrenness was only existing in the aspect of being angry that there is no one. The rest is in order, as if it wants people to get rid of such emotions. Immortal Douluo stood at the front, and he was not in a hurry to push open the huge hall door in front of him. On the contrary, he measured the arrangement of the surrounding area with great interest, as if expressing emotion and emotion intentionally or unintentionally. Remembrance. Undead Douluo is not the only one who is subtle. Ziyu and the others can also find that such a special emotion is constantly spreading in Jifei and Yi Lanshan, and now they are all confused. What is it mean? Could it be that Jifei and the 3 of them were feeling the vastness of this majestic building, or were they deeply engrossed in it? Obviously, it will never be that simple. Heretic god, what's the matter? Don't you want to see me? Or do you feel that I'm not as strong as before and have a rebellious heart? Or is it that my name of destruction is not enough to crush you? A title Douluo? It wasn't immortal Douluo who spoke, but undying Douluo turned around in shock and looked at Jifei. That's right, those deep words just now came from Jifei's mouth. Dian. Jifei, you. Immortal Douluo was obviously a little excited. Could it be possible to recover his memory? Really? Did you really recover your memory? Yi Lanshan held Jifei tightly in disbelief. She didn't say anything, but tears could be gathered in her pale green eyes. Jifei just looked up at the deep sky. Just seeing this scene, I suddenly remembered something. It seems that there is such a picture in my mind. Once, under the deep sky, there was a person who gave 7 people 7 kinds of sin, but they prefer to call them kiking. And there is another person. She gave each of the 10 people a commandment, and those who violate it, from the title Douluo down to the soul master, will be punished. Squeak. When everyone was silent, while Ji-Fei was speaking, the originally tightly closed palace door suddenly opened, and Ji-Fei stopped talking. After all, it was just a fragment of memory, and he seemed to remember nothing in the end, or said he never remembered. Is he Ji-Fei or a time traveler, or do you have other memories? It seems that I can't figure it out. A figure slowly came out from the gate of the palace. He was only about 1.2 meters tall. He had a pair of split pupils. There was no trace of age on his immature face. He looked at Ji-Fei and Yi Lanshan at the same time, then he turned his eyes to undead Douluo, and finally he looked at Ziyu and the rest of the people. Are you the son of that old guy from the evil god? Immortal Douluo looked at the little doll in surprise, but was secretly startled. Why is this evil god Douluo so powerful, in such a short period of time? There are even sons and successors. This is too weird, but it seems very exciting, and it seems to be a very good choice to use this to tease him in the future. PFFT. Suddenly, when undead Douluo came back to his senses from the enjoyment just now, a scythe shining with black light was inserted into his chest fiercely, and blood flowed out instantly. The cracked opening looks so simple that it might almost penetrate the whole body, right? Ji-Fei and Yi Lanshan seemed very calm, and were not shocked by this child who suddenly stretched out a scythe and pierced undead Douluo's body, but Ziyu and the others were not calm. What kind of existence is this? The specific age of this child is only 6 or 7 years old, right? The 6 or 7-year-old child directly took out a sickle and pierced through the body of a 98 level super titled Douluo like undead Douluo, and the speed is so fast that even undead Douluo can react tomorrow. Perhaps the figure of the child they saw at the entrance of the hall just now may be just an afterimage of him, or maybe it is not at all. What should we do now? This scythe pierced through the whole body. Maybe even a titled Douluo wouldn't be able to survive, right? The situation seems to be completely different from what was originally planned. Such a change really caught people off guard. Immortal. The boy's voice sounded slowly, and he raised his head to look at the blood-spitting undead Douluo. Stop pretending. Tell me, what are you doing here? And you brought him with you? Your lord. The young man's eyes fell on Yi Lanshan, and he suddenly became dazed. I see. Have you awakened? But this soul power, is it level 24? It's just that everything will return to ruins after God's punishment. With a swipe, the boy pulled out the huge sickle in his hand. He dodged backwards, and the undead Douluo on the other side slowly raised his drooping head. His blood-colored eyes became a little hideous get-up, and at the same time a terrifying laugh sounded. So you are that old bastard of the evil god. Okay, very good. I like this meeting gift for this old man, so I say. Coming and not coming. As soon as the words fell, I saw that the original undead Douluo's figure suddenly grew several points, and the stabbed wound healed instantly at a speed invisible to the eyes of the sun. Hurry up, or we will suffer disaster. Yi Lanshan pulled Ji-Fei, who was stunned, and shouted at Ziyu and the others behind him. For the last time, Ziyu only saw a huge phantom suddenly standing behind the fallen undead Douluo. At the same time, the soul ring floating from his body instantly shocked all of them to the extreme. On top of the blood-colored phantom, one after another soul rings floated out. Yellow, purple, black, 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 red, 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 red soul ring. Isn't that a 10-year soul ring? And from the 3rd soul ring onwards, it's a year level soul ring. Zhu Jiangxing was horrified to the extreme, and the terrifying aura repressed them so much that they couldn't breathe, but it couldn't weaken their shocked expressions at all. End of this chapter. Chapter 99 GFEIN-039, S abnormal gossip. While retreating, Ji-Fei and the others kept staring at the 10-year soul ring. The blood-red soul ring exuded terrifying power. After the dark night, it covered up all the seemingly non-existent things. The soul power that should have been absorbed into the moonstone also poured into undead Douluo crazily body. And only this 10-year spirit ring can bring them such a shocking scene. Of course not, because the black soul rings arranged round after round were also extremely terrifying. They were so horrified that they completely overturned the soul master knowledge they had learned before. From the 3rd soul ring, it has become a 10,000-year spirit ring. This really makes people unbelievable. The 10,000-year soul ring not only represents a powerful soul power, but also a more powerful soul ring. Isn't it the difference in soul skills brought about by the age of the soul ring of the soul master? The body of a soul master is like a piece of equipment. The capacity and soul power of soul master equipment of the same level are all the same, and the soul power of a strong person who has stepped into the title Douluo level is even more terrifying. The soul skill is not to say that it has reached the level of destroying the world, but it is definitely an existence that is earth-shattering. The phantom behind immortal Douluo keeps enlarging, and the bright 10-year-old soul ring shines on the young man standing opposite, that is, the evil god Douluo, that undying Douluo is talking about. It's neat to be old. Do you want me to see your true strength when you come up? But that's okay. Anyway, we haven't seen each other for hundreds of years. Let's see how each of us has grown up over the past few hundred years. Bah. The child's old-fashioned look is really unbearable, so it looks like a child said such words to a titled Douluo. If he doesn't know the reason, his jaw will really drop. Immortal Douluo stood on the spot, and the phantom behind him was his martial soul, undying seat. This kind of martial soul was similar to the possessed beast martial soul, but far beyond such a simple possessed martial soul. His martial soul ability is very simple, but it is also very complicated. He can use the undead seat to assimilate the enemy's soul power, and apply the enemy's soul power and half of the martial soul copy ability to himself. As for the power of the undead seat martial soul itself, it is so keen. Hundreds of years ago, as a powerful titled Douluo of the agility attack system, he used incomparably cold methods, copied martial arts that did not belong to him, and used his own soul power assimilation soul skills. He was almost invincible at the peak. But now he is still very afraid of the evil god Douluo. The evil god Douluo's martial spirit is the evil god scythe. He has a deep understanding of the power of this sickle, but he is only at the level of fear. He can still fight, as long as he wants to. Fighting against the evil god Douluo. The opposing child suddenly floated in the air. Yes, he did not use any external objects to levitate directly. His petite figure controlled the levitating scythe of the evil god, and the body gradually levitated. The spirit rings shocked Fei and the others who had escaped. Looking back, Hulina said slowly with a trembling voice, yellow, purple, black, 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 red. Another titled Douluo with a 10-year level soul ring, and according to what undead Douluo said before, this evil god Douluo had a cultivation level of 98 hundreds of years ago. So now what level has his cultivation reached? They couldn't see it. After all, their soul power was too weak. Among the 7 people, there were only 2 soul masters above level. Their remaining soul power was only at such a meager level, but at this level their level of soul power was able to witness such a powerful and terrifying titled Douluo level battle, and they were delighted with a hint of surprise. Especially Ziyu, Hulina, and Yan. They all have a general understanding of the general situation in the Douluo Continent today. Almost all the powerhouses at the title Douluo level have names or surnames, or they are among the 3 sects. Perhaps in the Star Luo Empire and the Heaven Dao Empire, there are quite a few title Douluo level powerhouses in the Spirit Hall, but to say that their cultivation is as high as the title Douluo level and they have the title of a 10-year soul ring Douluo and the others have almost never heard of it. So what is the origin of these 2 people, and the 9 spirit rings suspended on such a small body of this evil god Douluo? They really couldn't believe it. Maybe it was just because of some special reasons that this evil god Douluo has become like this. Maybe it could be weight loss. No, among the statues I saw before, undead Douluo also pointed out to them the statue of evil god Douluo. It was obviously a chubby naive middle-aged man with an unusually tall stature, but now that he has become like this, it is obviously it takes a while to react. Undead, do you still remember the scene where you killed my sister with your own hands? The evil god Douluo hovered in the air condescendingly inspecting the undead Douluo below. The eyes are even more deeply terrifying. Immortal Douluo was obviously stunned. His thoughts seemed to gradually return to the massacre he witnessed when he returned to the Stardao forest, when he just woke up nearly 100 years ago. Immortal Douluo shook his head. If you think I killed Xiaorao, then I have nothing to say. I'm a symbol of greed. Haha, the source of life has brought me many benefits. We have lived for such a long time, but what do you care about as a younger sister? What? You're looking for death. The evil god Douluo was about to burst into tears, and the fifth dark soul ring behind him suddenly lit up. The fifth form of the evil god Scythe. The evil god punishes. Immortal Douluo pursed his lips to cover up the helplessness that had just passed away. Okay, the old man wants to see how your laziness has changed in these hundreds of years. Seventh sister, do you know what happened to Teacher Immortal? Why do you feel that there seems to be a very strange relationship between him and this evil god Douluo? Hulina looked at Yi Lanshan, and she could see it from the expressions on both sides. It can be concluded that maybe only after this battle is over, they can continue to complete the task, or continue to obtain the so-called opportunities in the mouth of undead Douluo. Yi Lanshan shook her head. I don't know, I've only been with Teacher Undead for a few years, so what can I know? Ji Fei suddenly said, do you know, if you have fought? The old guy who has lived for more than years actually started fighting, but it doesn't matter. We just watch here. According to the prediction, we will fight. There is absolutely no threat here. Looking around at the statues, Ji Fei nodded. We will definitely not be affected by the spread of soul power. After all, there are so many brothers and sisters protecting us. End of this chapter. Chapter 100. The meaning of immortality. An old guy who has lived for more than years. Hulina took a deep look at Ji Fei and didn't believe what Ji Fei said at all. She whispered to Yi Lanshan, Lanshan, isn't your Ji Fei stupid? Even a title Douluo can't live to. How many years? Is it possible that Teacher Immortal is still a soul beast? Go back and find him a soul master to take a look. Otherwise, your children may have brain problems in the future. Yi Lanshan covered her mouth and chuckled. You are still a child. Third sister, your imagination is too rich, right? How old are we? Isn't it just a matter of time, especially if you fall in love at first sight? Anyway, I have a hunch that you can be together for a long time. My Wuhan is the sky fox that symbolizes pure love. Hulina focused her attention on the scene of the battle between undead Douluo and evil god Douluo. The powerful spirit power released continuously in the surrounding area can be described as wave after wave of strength. Ji Fei's groaning eyes were only focused on the immortal Douluo and the evil god Douluo, and he seemed to have completely discarded everything else. Maybe he could see many different things from Ji Fei's astonishing eyes. It was look back at the past. Lanshan, do you think that Immortal and Cthulhu are stronger or weaker than before? I remember that, when I first met Undead, his immortal seat martial soul surprised me, and the effect of assimilating soul power is similar to my own. Isn't the soul power of destroying and invalidating not much different? Huh? What did I just say? Why do you feel that the special memory has been lifted? Countless split sickle light blades fell straight towards the undead Douluo like rain, and accompanied by the phantom that flashed extremely fast, the evil god Douluo standing in the air tightly held the evil god's sickle in his hand, and when he swooped down, he might only be able to see his phantom. After all, his speed was so fast that he could only rush down for a moment. Immortal Douluo's reaction speed was also very fast. His soul power surged, and with the flickering of the fifth black soul ring behind him, a crimson light blade fell out of thin air, released directly, and then violently they collided with the sickle phantoms one after another. The fifth soul skill, the 10,000-year soul skill Undying Seat's Void Slash. The effect is also very significant, condensing one's own soul power to release a crimson blade within a range, which penetrates fiercely into the sky, and at the same time, carries a trace of corrosive power. Such corrosive power can assimilate the soul power, of course, will only assimilate the stronger soul power than oneself. After all, no one will let oneself become weaker and weaker, right? Boom. The collision between the two sides erupted with wave after wave of spirit energy, and this wave of energy stirred up an extremely terrifying scorching aura point. Immortal Douluo still stood in place after the blast, but what can be seen is that his steps seem to have taken a small step back. It seems that even an existence as strong as him uses a soul when fighting against each other. It is also difficult to protect oneself when using skills. Cthulhu, is this what you are capable of? Don't hide here and there. I don't want to play peekaboo with you. Come out and let's continue the battle. Flipping the golden soul coin for a while, the restrained blood-colored eyes just smiled coldly. On the other side, the evil god Douluo, who was floating above the sky, had long since disappeared. What the immortal Douluo predicted himself was that the evil god Douluo should follow his soul skills and use his martial soul to penetrate again one's own body. In that case, he can only kill his own thoughts personally, and it can also fight against the same soul skills. The most powerful one is the evil god Douluo. But it's a pity that the evil god Douluo didn't rush over directly, which made undying Douluo feel a little funny, and he specially used most of his soul power to think about the evil god Douluo's next move. Teacher immortal. Be careful up there. Yan, who was watching the battle next to the group of statues, suddenly yelled. He felt a particularly hot breath gathering in the sky. This is definitely a powerful soul skill, and it is a soul skill with fire attributes. The scythe of the Cthulhu, the sixth form, the purgatory of the Cthulhu. The sound of the rumbling flame forging sounded from above the head. Undead Douluo was slightly stunned. Do you want to cut off the old man's head from the top of your head because you feel that the frontal attack is not enough? It's a pity. So what if I ask you to do it? Immortal Douluo just stood there with a smile on the corner of his mouth. At the same time, he felt a powerful flame breath continuously released from above his head, and the most strange thing was that he could clearly feel that he didn't even use his soul power. No, to be exact, it should be said that he had dissipated all his soul power and tightly maintained the situation of displaying the undead seat of the martial soul. What does Master Immortal want to do? He clearly knew that the opponent was about to attack from above. Why didn't he fight back? Why didn't he defend? Isn't this just going to face a beating? I just reminded the undead teacher, and the undead teacher didn't realize that the power gathered above his head is dozens of times stronger than the pair of scythes and light blades just now. If this blow falls, if it comes, what level will this power be spawned? At this time, Fei said from the side, brothers and sisters, don't you always care about what the title of undead teacher is? Every title Douluo's title is almost based on his own special ability or his own martial arts. The soul came to get it, right? Then think about it. Is Master Immortal taking such a title just to entrust himself not to want to earn gold soul coins after death? Crazy, earning gold soul coins is not enough, is it? But maybe we really don't realize the horror of the undead teacher. You watched the black flames rolling down from the sky and a sickle hanging in the sky straight, and it landed on undead Douluo's head, and then the undead Douluo's head exploded. But this has not been completed yet. At the moment when the black flames fell, the undead Douluo's head grew out of thin air. Maybe it was a recovery, or it really was a new one. The undead Douluo didn't care. Turning his neck, he looked at the wrapped black flame and said slowly, no way. Do you want this old man to be naked in front of the Lord? Evil God. Are you disrespecting the whole Master or the Lord? As soon as the voice fell, the black scorching flames that were splashing all over the sky instantly turned into smoke of nothingness, as if it had never appeared before, and even the slightest evidence left was gone. And then only a cold shout came from midair. Tell me, what are you doing here, and what are you doing with them? End of this chapter. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.